Chapter 4387. The old sage king of the great desolate mansion looked solemn. Seizing the fortune of heaven, he used a legendary secret technique. What? Everyone was shocked. Then they realized that where was Purple Moon's Saint King? Could it be that he had already fallen? Everyone looked over and saw that the Purple Moon's Sage King had disappeared. Black Mountain said, "I've killed him! I've avenged you!" These words were directed at the BUS Sage King. The BUS Sage King was also shocked. He could not understand what had happened, but he still cupped his fists and said, "Thank you for your help." Damn it! Not only had the other party broken through, but he had also taken the opportunity. The Silver Corpse Sage King's face was cold. The old Sage King of the great desolate mansion gritted his teeth. "Who are you?" Black Mountain glanced at him and said coldly, "Me? I'm afraid you don't have the right to know." "Presumptuous!" The mysterious man beside him snorted. Black Mountain sneered. "When I was conquering the world, your grandfather was not even born yet. How dare you talk to me like that?" Unparalleled Sage King and the others looked weird when they heard what Black Mountain said. The Silver Corpse Sage King and the others were enraged. "You're asking for it. Since you dared to set up a trap for us, you're going to die today." The Divine Ghost Sword Sage also walked out. "So what if you've escaped the punishment? Do you think you can escape from our joint attack? I'd like to see what right you have to say that." The old Sage King of the great desolate mansion also walked out. It looked like they were going to attack Black Mountain together. "Do you think you can fight me with just the likes of you?" Black Mountain stood there, looking down at the world with disdain. The Silver Corpse Sage King and the others gritted their teeth when they saw this. "Damn it! Why are you pretending? Didn't you just become a Sage King?" They were all experienced experts. Moreover, there was the old Sage King of the great desolate mansion. Their strength far surpassed everyone else. They did not believe that they could not defeat Black Mountain. So what if the unparalleled Sage King and the others attacked? The unparalleled Sage King and the others naturally would not sit back and do nothing. Hence, they walked out and stared ahead. The Silver Corpse Sage King said coldly, "Let me see what kind of strength you have." With a clang, the underworld sword shot out from the underworld gourd. The sword was extremely terrifying. It was as if the underworld had descended and destroyed everything. The terrifying sword she slashed towards Black Mountain. However, Shan did not care at all. With a sway of his body, he seemed to have merged into the void and instantly dodged the sword. Then, he stretched out his palm and grabbed at the void. Immediately, countless laws condensed in the space and completely sealed the sword chi. The Saint King's expressions changed when they saw that. How was that possible? How could Lin Fan fight against the Silver Corpse Saint King so easily? One had to know that the Silver Corpse Holy King was a veteran expert. His opponent had just broken through to the Holy King level. Was there already no gap between them? Damn it! The Silver Corpse Saint King roared and formed a seal with his palms, forming the yellow spring great array. A cold and gloomy aura swept out in all directions, as if it wanted to take away everyone's life. Even Peerless Saint King and the others frowned when they saw this. It must be said that his opponent's spirit formation was extremely terrifying. Lua Saint King took a few steps back. After all, she had been injured before and had not fully recovered. She could not withstand the cold aura at all. "Let's see how you're going to fight this time." The Silver Corpse Saint King sneered coldly. Skysoar Saint King and the others also looked cold. In their opinion, Lin Fan was definitely going to die this time. Shan looked around and sneered. "How dare you use a spirit formation in front of me? You're courting death. Your array formation is nothing more than an insignificant skill." After saying that, his body swayed and disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already outside the great formation. How was that possible? The surrounding people were all stunned. Those Saint Kings also narrowed their eyes. Damn it! How did he get out? The Silver Corpse Saint King's face turned ugly, and his eyes were wide open. Damn it! In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palms, forming a yellow spring seal, and slammed it forward. Could it be that you know how to use a spatial array? So what? In his opinion, Lin Fan must have used a spatial array to break out of the formation so quickly. However, he was not afraid. At this moment, He Shan also made his move. He slammed his palm forward and it covered the sky. The 9 heavens collapsed and the stars were destroyed. Boom! The terrifying palm collided with the yellow spring seal and an earth-shattering sound rang out. Countless cracks spread out and the yellow spring seal shattered. The silver corpse Saint King was forced back and one of his arms was instantly shattered. The surrounding people were all stunned. Everything happened too quickly. When they reacted, the silver corpse Saint King was already vomiting blood and was sent flying. How was that possible? The surrounding people were stunned. Wasn't this guy too strong? Was he really someone who had just become a Saint King? Ah! The silver corpse Saint King roared to the sky. His body was filled with killing intent as he charged forward again. The power in his body seemed to be able to split the sky and earth. Unparalleled killing intent burst out from him. However, He Shan only sneered. He stretched out his palm again, and it seemed to pass through the endless void. His palm slammed onto the silver corpse Saint King's face. The silver corpse Saint King was sent flying. The silver corpse Saint King spun in the sky like a kite with a broken string. His face was smashed. I've said it before. You're not my match. Let your father, Saint King Yanling, come. He Shan stood with his hands behind his back and said proudly. On the opposite side, Saint King Fei Tian, Saint King Divine Ghost, and the others were shocked. Even Saint King Wang Kunlun and the others gasped. This person was so strong that it defied the heavens. Lin Xian and the others were even more shocked. Was this He Shan's strength? As expected of the remnant soul of a great saint. He had just become a Saint King and could already beat up other Saint Kings? Lin Xian clenched his fists. He did not know how strong He Shan would be after becoming a Saint King. The scene was terrifyingly silent. The silver corpse Saint King and the others were originally full of confidence. They had enough strength to suppress Peerless Divine King and the others. But now, Peerless Divine King and the others had not even made a move. He Shan alone was enough to stun them. Damn it! The silver corpse Saint King flew back. His eyes were red and his killing intent surged. He wanted to attack again. This time, he was going to go all out. As a Saint King, how could he not be angry after being slapped in the face? However, at this moment, the old Saint King from Bumblebee waved his hand and stopped him. Don't act rashly. This person is very strange. Let me test his strength. As he spoke, he walked out and waved his walking stick in the air. Instantly, the stars in the sky shattered. Middle stage Saint King, Peerless Divine King and the others took a deep breath. Their expressions became extremely solemn. It was obvious that the old Saint King was a level higher than them. Most of the Saint Kings were early-stage Saint Kings. However, their opponent was a mid-stage Saint King. The difference in strength between them was like heaven and earth. This time, their opponent should be dead, right? Chapter 4388. Soaring Sky Sage King and the rest snorted. Even Lin Xian and the rest became nervous again. Boom! The old Sage King of the Great Desolate Mansion made his move. His walking stick seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword as it pierced forward. In an instant, it arrived before He Shan. However, He Shan waved his hand and countless laws gathered, forming a terrifying vortex that instantly enveloped the sword. It was as if the sword had pierced into the sea. The boundless power was swallowed up by it. He Shan formed a seal with his palms and a boundless array flew out from his hands, spreading out in all directions. The Four Spirits Heaven-Lock Grand Array below was activated by him. Endless chains swept towards the old Sacred King. The old Sage King was originally full of confidence, but when he saw the spiritual Four-Sky Lock Array, his scalp went numb. He quickly retreated, no longer as confident as before. The expressions of the other Saint Kings also changed greatly. Damn it, Can he still control the array? Why did he retreat without a fight? I've said it before. When I dominated the world, your grandfather wasn't even born yet. Do you believe me now? Damn it! Those sage kings were so angry that they vomited blood, but no one dared to act rashly. Even the old sage king said to leave first. This guy was too strange. He could control the spiritual four-sky lock array. If he sealed it, it would be difficult to escape. Damn it, Silver Corpse Sage King and the rest were biting. The great advantage they had was now gone. Not only was Purple Moon Sage King killed, but the Joyous Union Palace was no longer under their control. Moreover, they had been slapped in the face. They must take revenge. Let's go. Silver Corpse Sage King waved his hand and the few of them slowly disappeared. At this moment, Peerless Sage King and Kunlun Sage King suddenly attacked. The two of them attacked the same person, the mysterious person shrouded in light. The mysterious person did not expect the two Sage Kings to attack together, so he could only retreat quickly. The old Sage King roared and slashed Kunlun Mountain. However, the devouring vortex flew out and shrouded the mysterious person's light. The light was torn apart, and the mysterious person was shocked before he disappeared. Although it was only for a moment, they all saw Peerless Sage King. Then, they were all dumbfounded. It really was the Desolate Heaven Sage King. Wasn't he killed? Lin Xian and the others were also surprised. Peerless Saint King said coldly. He did not have the ability to come back from the dead. He was not dead at all. As expected, they were in cahoots with the human world. Sacred King Desolate Heaven's appearance caused everyone's face to turn grave. The people who were originally dead had reappeared. In that case, other than the Desolate Heaven Holy King, were the others still alive? Their faces were cold. These people were too arrogant. It seemed that it was time to take action against them. Peerless Saint King's eyes were filled with killing intent. He would leave the rest to be U.S. Saint King. After Purple Moon Saint King was killed, the people from Hahuan Palace no longer dared to resist, and all of them surrendered. Those capable generals under the Purple Moon Saint King were all suppressed. Their hearts and souls were destroyed. For a moment, the Joyous Union Palace was once again under his control. On the other side, Peerless Sage King and the others had also begun to discuss their plans to attack the Great Barren Mansion. Since they had already confirmed that the Great Desolation Mansion was related to the human world, how could they hold back? Of course, this matter had to be well prepared. Lin Xian and the others also took the time to cultivate. They adjusted their strength to the peak and were ready to strike at any time. At the same time, the battle scenes that Peerless Saint King had recorded using the array were also spread out. It spread throughout the second astral boundary. When the people in the second astral boundary saw it, they were stunned. Oh my God, what is this? The four great Sage Kings had been slapped in the face. They felt as if they were in a dream. Who did it? Was it Lin Xian? He was really daring. They did not know the others, but they should be sacred venerables. A group of sacred venerables had slapped a sacred king's face. This was the first time something like this had happened. Therefore, everyone was in an uproar. All sorts of discussions broke out. When the sacred kings heard the news, they were so angry that they vomited blood and sent people out to suppress them. At the same time, Fu Hongye, Ling Huchuixue, and the others were transported over. They took a deep breath. They knew that Peerless City was going to take revenge. Previously, Acheron Palace, Great Desolate Mansion, and Myriad Demon City had joined forces to seal Peerless City. They had already taken action against Acheron Palace. This time, they were going to take action against Great Desolate Mansion and destroy it completely. Soon, Lin Xian met up with Ling Huchuixue and the others and came to Joyous Union Palace. Everyone gathered and waited for Peerless Saint King's news. Lin Xian originally wanted to contact Peerless Saint King and asked Chao Tianxing to come over. He wanted to spar with Peerless Saint King. However, he found out that Chao Tianxing was still in True Spirit World and was constantly visiting the sacred grounds. He had even entered some legendary places. This caused Lin Xian to be astonished. It seemed that this fellow was not simple at all. Finally, peerless Saint King returned. His eyes were filled with coldness. Then, he said, "Follow me to take revenge!" Lin Xian and the others stood up. Their eyes were filled with coldness. This time, only peerless Saint King came personally. The other Saint Kings did not appear. However, Lin Xian knew that the other Saint Kings were following them secretly, ready to strike at any time. After all, they were going to attack a sacred city. Peerless City was going to attack in the name of revenge. Great Desolate Mansion would definitely call for others. At that time, the hidden Saint Kings would appear again. Peerless Saint King, Lin Xian, and the others moved quickly. The entire second astral realm was shaken again. This time, they did not hide their auras. Terrifying killing intent and the wrath of a Saint King swept across the 9 heavens. Finally, they came to the front. The great desolate mansion was right in front of them. Peerless Saint King roared and slashed forward with his sword. Suddenly, a world and joyous union palace was split open. The disciples inside were all turned into blood mist. Terrifying auras spread out in all directions. Everyone in the second astral realm went crazy. Heavens, the wrath of a Saint King was so terrifying. When the people of Great Desolate Mansion received the news, their eyes turned red. Damn it, who is it? Does he want to die? Countless experts and elders flew out one after another. One of the elders swept his gaze across all directions. He was a late-stage Saint Venerate expert. He roared, "Who dares to attack my Great Desolate Mansion? Come here and accept your death!" However, what answered him was an ice-cold sword light that directly slashed him into a bloody mist. The other elders felt their scalps go numb as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Damn it, the aura of a Saint King. The Saint King had attacked. In the next moment, they saw a group of people descending from the sky. They brought with them supreme Tao, causing the sky to rumble and the earth to tremble. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses had descended. Although there were not many of them, their auras were too powerful. Chapter 4389. The martial artists of the Great Desolate Mansion who controlled the world raised their heads in fear. When the elders saw this scene, their pupils abruptly shrank. It was Unparalleled Sage King and the people from Wushuang City. ***, they actually came? Unparalleled Sage King, how dare you behave so atrociously in the Great Desolate Mansion? This is against the rules. Another elder walked out and gritted his teeth. However, Unparalleled Sage King waved his sleeve and the elder turned into a blood mist. He said coldly, "Who do you think you are? How dare you lecture me? Get your Sage King out! Damn it!" When the surrounding Sage Venerables saw this, they roared in anger. They gritted their teeth so hard that they almost broke. Some of the elders who were in the later stage of the Sage Venerables were even more furious. Unparalleled Sage King frowned. A bunch of ants dared to behave atrociously in front of him. When he looked at the 6 elders, they turned into blood mist instantly. The people from the Great Desolate Mansion were in despair. He was too powerful. Although these elders were also powerful experts, they were like ants in front of a Sage King. They could not even withstand a glance from the Sage King. No one dared to be arrogant anymore. Shouting in front of the Sage King was a dead end. At this moment, a cold snort sounded between heaven and earth. Then, an old man walked out on the main road. He held onto his walking stick and his aura was extremely cold. When the people from the Great Desolate Mansion saw this, they became excited. They all knelt down and bowed. "Old Ancestor! Great, the Old Ancestor is here!" The elders shouted. "Old Ancestor, please avenge us! Wushuang City is too arrogant!" This old man was naturally the old Sage King of the Great Desolate Mansion. When he came out, his cold aura shrouded the area. To be honest, he did not want to see Unparalleled Sage King and the others. Whenever he thought of Unparalleled Sage King, he would be reminded of what had happened. There was also the mysterious black-robed man. However, since the other party had come, he could not sit back and do nothing. Instead, he asked coldly, Unparalleled Sage King, why did you bring so many people here? What is it? Unparalleled Sage King sneered. Previously, the Great Desolate Mansion, Akron Hall, and Demon City joined forces to attack Wushuang City. As a result, Wushuang City is still sealed. What do you think I'm doing? Since you dared to attack my holy city, then there's no need for your holy city to exist. Speaking of which, a fearsome sword chi swept across the area. The terrifying devouring law spread out for thousands of miles. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. As for the old holy king in front, he humphed coldly. I'm afraid you don't have the qualifications. Call out the person behind you. This is just a grudge between our two holy cities. I won't ask for help. Do you think that just because you're a veteran Saint King, I'm afraid of you? Today, I'll let you experience my prowess. Peerless Holy King exuded a terrifying aura. Of course, if you want to call for help, then don't blame me for being impolite. Hearing this, the old Saint King smiled. He was most worried that the peerless Saint King would look for someone. However, at that moment, Chu Feng wanted to contend against him by himself. He was truly naive. This peerless Saint King was only at the initial stage of the Saint King realm. Although his devouring law was strange, so what? He was a powerful existence in the middle stage of the Saint King realm. It would be very easy for him to defeat his opponent. If it was possible, he could even kill his opponent today. Thinking of this, the old Saint King's eyes were filled with killing intent. Since you want to die, then don't blame me for being impolite. Having said that, he waved his hand and a fearsome aura of desolation formed into a desolation blade. He slashed it forward. This slash seemed to be able to split the heavens and earth. It exploded with unparalleled power. The peerless Saint King also attacked. The devouring law and peerless sword flew out. A shocking battle broke out between the two of them. The old Saint King roared. Do you dare to come up and fight? He flew out of the region and fought above the 9 heavens. After all, this was the territory of the Great Desolate Mansion. If they fought below, even if they won, the Great Desolate Mansion would not be able to withstand the power. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The peerless Saint King sneered and rushed up to the 9 heavens. As the two of them fought, terrifying auras filled the air. Everyone below watched the battle anxiously. The people of the Great Desolate Mansion surrounded Ling Huchuishue and the others. However, they did not attack immediately. They were waiting for the outcome of the battle between the Saint Kings. When the time came, they would destroy the people of Peerless City. Ling Huchuishue and the others were also very nervous. However, Lin Xian was not among them. At this moment, Lin Xian was not there. He was secretly moving around. He and the Crimson Dragon hid in the void with the Great Desolate Mansion's void beast skin and flew in the world controlled by the Great Desolate Mansion. He Shan was also following behind them. This time, their goal was not to kill their enemies, but to find the traces of the Desolate Heaven Saint King. As long as they could find the Desolate Heaven Saint King, then it would no longer be a grudge between Peerless City and the Great Desolate Mansion. At that time, they could prove that the Great Desolate Mansion was related to the human world. Then, the other saint cities could make a move. The Divine Path sect could also enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. This was the ultimate goal of the Peerless Saint King and the others. Kid, what do you think? The Crimson Dragon asked as he controlled the Void Beast's skin. Lin Xian activated the heavenly secret god eyes with all his might. His golden eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. Don't worry, he's not in this world. He's in another world. They instantly traveled through the void. A single saint city controlled many worlds, so they had to search for the Desolate Heaven's Saint King one by one. Finally, they found the Desolate Heaven's Saint King in the 6th world. Lin Xian said, I found the traces of the Desolate Heaven's Saint King. This time, he didn't hide anything. I saw his face clearly. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and make a move, the Crimson Dragon said anxiously. Lin Xian frowned. There was more than one Saint King's aura. Damn it, there were other Saint Kings in the Great Desolate Mansion. Lin Xian made a shocking discovery. He realized that there were two more Saint Kings hiding here. These two people were wearing masks even when they were not in danger. They were shrouded in black, murderous aura. Obviously, they were people from the human world. In a hidden hall in the distance, one of the masked men frowned. He looked at the void. The other man asked, "What's going on?" That man said, "I feel that someone is secretly observing us." "Who could be here?" "You're overthinking." "Impossible, my senses can't be wrong." "Desolate heaven, isn't there a huge battle outside?" The desolate heaven's Saint King's pupils shrank. His eyes were like lightning, piercing through the void. "Damn it, hurry up and make a move!" A black-clothed Saint King disappeared instantly. In the next moment, he appeared near Lin Xian. Indeed, there was an aura. "Although I don't know who you are, you should hurry up and die." He held a mirror in one hand and slammed his other hand down. This was an attack from a Saint King. No matter who was hiding here, they would definitely die. Chapter 4390. They had been discovered. The Crimson Dragon was shocked. Lin Xian sighed as well. A sage ruler was far stronger than a sage venerable. None of the sage venerables had discovered them while they were flying. However, a sage ruler had easily discovered them. He did not dare to be careless and entered the great sage tower with the Crimson Dragon. With a loud boom, the great sage tower was sent flying. The sage ruler sneered. However, he soon frowned. Was it not broken? Could it be a sage ruler's weapon? He stretched out his palm to grab it again. However, at this moment, another black-robed man appeared and slammed his palm towards him. Who was that? He thought it was his companion, but when he sensed that the aura was different, he felt a chill down his spine. It was Black Mountain who had attacked. His attack was imbued with boundless power, and it directly enveloped his opponent. He was instantly sent flying, crashing through the endless void, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. What was going on? The desolate heaven sage ruler and the other black-robed man were shocked. Was there a sage ruler hiding here? You go first. The desolate heaven sage ruler's body glowed and he wore a battle armor that covered his face. They could not let anyone discover that a human was here. Otherwise, the great desolate mansion would be in danger. He was prepared to go over and stall for time. However, he did not know that the other party was looking for him. In the next moment, he dashed out and asked coldly, "Sir, do you really want to be enemies with the great desolate mansion?" At that moment, Lin Xian walked out from the great sage ruler and sneered. "Desolate heaven, stop pretending. I know it's you. You're still alive. It's you!" The desolate heaven sage ruler's face turned cold, and he revealed a ferocious expression. "Brat, how dare you come here? You're courting death. I'll send you to hell today." With that, he attacked with his palm. "You're the one who's going to hell." Lin Xian sneered and quickly retreated. He used the void escape technique to appear and disappear unpredictably. At that moment, Black Mountain also made his move. He stretched out a palm, and the boundless power of the formation enveloped him in an instant. The desolate heaven sage ruler's face changed. Not good. He roared crazily and his power swept in all directions. However, he was unable to tear apart the array formation. In the next moment, He Shan waved his hand and flew into the sky with the formation. Boom! When they arrived in the sky, Lin Xian's cold voice rang out once again. "Desolate heaven sage king, you're still alive. It seems that you are indeed related to the human world." His voice was like a clap of thunder that swept across all directions, causing the people of the great desolate mansion to be stunned. They all turned their heads to look, their faces filled with astonishment. In the sky, the expression of the old sacred king, who was fighting in the outer realm, changed. Damn it, he was clenching his teeth so hard that they were about to break. To be honest, the fact that he hadn't been able to suppress the other party until now had already shocked him. However, he did not expect that the other party's target was not him, but sacred King Huang Tian. Peerless Saint King sneered. Old man, let's see how your great desolate mansion will die this time. As he spoke, he quickly retreated to the side of Ling Huchuishue and the others to prevent the great desolate mansion from attacking. Meanwhile, the old Saint King walked down, his expression cold and gloomy. Sacred King Huangtian said through gritted teeth. The black-robed man had appeared. The old Saint King's eyes narrowed as he said coldly, Huangtian was indeed still alive because he had cultivated a secret technique. That was why he was able to escape from the human world. However, that didn't mean that he was related to the human world. Sacred King Huangtian quickly explained. Yes, that's right. The secret technique that I cultivated allowed me to escape. Is that not enough? Lin Xian sneered when he heard that. You really have the cheek to say that. Those who were present were all sacred kings. You managed to escape? What a joke! The human world didn't kill you. However, if you don't want to admit it, don't worry. I have plenty of evidence. As he spoke, Lin Xian's eyes shone with an extremely sharp radiance once again. This time, He Shan also attacked, shattering the heavens and earth. Soon, a figure was pushed back again. This person was wearing a mask and exuded a murderous aura. He was one of the sacred kings of the human world. Seeing this, Lin Xian sneered. What else do you have to say now? The old Saint King's expression changed. Damn it! He didn't expect that even his secret would be discovered. In the next moment, his expression turned ferocious, and the aura on his body became even more terrifying. At that moment, his head of white hair instantly changed. His old face became youthful again. In the next moment, the old Saint King turned into a middle-aged man who looked like a god. Obviously, he had used a secret technique to forcefully restore his strength to his peak without caring about his lifespan and life. At the same time, his voice sounded. So what if you've discovered me? All of you will die today. With a roar, the desolate heaven's seal came crashing down. Unparalleled Sacred King tried his best to block it, but he was still sent flying. However, he used the devouring vortex to protect Ling Huchuishue. Unparalleled Sacred King spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying. His expression was cold. He was indeed strong when he went all out. However, is it possible for him to kill me? The old Saint King didn't say anything. He turned his hand and attacked again. They shattered the formation and rescued the desolate heaven holy king. Sacred King Huangtian didn't hold back and attacked with all his might. He used the desolate summoning technique, summoning millions of figures in a huge canyon. The terrifying desolate chi was everywhere in the sky and on the ground, trying to devour everyone. At the same time, the space shattered. The two saints of the mortal realm also appeared in the sky. At that moment, Unparalleled Sacred King and the others were in extreme danger. An inescapable trap? So what? Unparalleled Sacred King shouted coldly as he sent out a sword chi, shattering the space around them. Figures appeared one after another. Their terrifying auras suppressed the 9 heavens. Among them, Sacred King Biyue, Sacred King Kunlun, and Limitless Sacred King had all arrived. Moreover, they weren't the only ones. The people from the deity Dao Union had also appeared. Their expressions were unusually cold, and they froze the area. Deity Dao Union! The old Saint King's eyes narrowed. He had thought that Unparalleled Sacred King would call for Sacred King Kunlun and the others, but he wasn't afraid. However, he hadn't expected the people from the deity Dao Union to come as well. This time, they were in trouble. Scholar Immortal walked out and looked down. Great desolate mansion, how dare you! Since you have already submitted to the mortal realm, you should disappear from this world. Next, we will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. Damn it! The old Saint King's face was cold. The 2 assassins said, We have already sent out the summoning technique. Our people will come. Hold on for a while. At that moment, Scholar Immortal waved his hand in the sky. Instantly they attacked. Unparalleled Sacred King and the others also attacked. A great battle instantly erupted. Ling Huchuishue, Fu Hongye, and the other young disciples also attacked. They wouldn't participate in the battle between the Saint Kings. However, they wouldn't miss the battle between the Saint Kings and the Saint Venerables. Chapter 4391. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon attacked as well. In an instant, many people charged towards Lin Xian. If it weren't for Lin Xian, the great desolate mansion wouldn't be in such a passive position. Go to hell, kid! 5 figures instantly appeared in the void. They were the 5 elders and they were the pinnacle of the sacred venerables. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. Boom! The 5 of them executed their ultimate techniques. Lin Xian let out a roar and unleashed the human ruler seal, sweeping out in all directions. Suddenly, an earth-shattering sound was heard. The 5 elders were pushed back and their faces were filled with shock. How could this be? How could Lin Xian be so strong? Damn it, this guy is almost invincible under the sacred ruler realm. Their faces turned cold. More people charged towards Lin Xian. The Crimson Dragon also roared and attacked. Lin Xian executed the human ruler's seal. He executed the mountain-embracing seal, invincible sword, and indestructible sword consecutively. The sacred venerables fell in droves. They couldn't defend themselves at all. Boom! When the desolate heaven's sacred king saw this, he attacked Lin Xian. Then, he was sent flying. Lin Xian sensed the terrifying aura and quickly dodged. However, he couldn't dodge it. He took out the Great Destruction Spear and blocked the attack. In the next moment, his face turned cold. Since you still want to kill me, don't blame me for being impolite. Lin Xian immediately used the Great Destruction Spear. Originally, he was invincible under the Sacred Ruler Realm. Now that he took out the Sacred Ruler Realm weapon, he was like a god of war. No one could stop him. Boom! With a single strike, boundless demonic chi suppressed the entire area. Groups of geniuses fell one after another. The eyes of the elders turned red. Stop him! Countless elders rushed up, but they couldn't even withstand a single attack. With a single strike, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Those elders were also struck to the point where their bodies and souls were completely destroyed. On the other side, Ling Huchuixue, Fu Hongye, and the other personal disciples were equally terrifying. The toad waved its claws and used the divine toad fist. It was having a great time. Lin Xian single-handedly swept through all 4 directions. One world after another passed, and no one was able to stop them. The battle between the Saint Kings above was equally dangerous. Although the Great Desolation Mansion had 4 Saint Rulers, it was impossible for them to defend themselves. In the blink of an eye, their bodies were blasted apart. However, Silver Corpse Saint King came along with Soaring Sky Saint King and Divine Ghost Saint King. Even those killing saints of the mortal world had come as well, descending between heaven and earth. Terrifying murderous aura surged, carrying out a great confrontation with the Divine Tao Gate. But this time, Peerless Saint King and the others were well prepared, so they had the advantage in numbers. Moreover, they were all in peak condition. Kill! The Holy Lord had gone completely mad, and was attacking madly. He summoned the Void Grand Canyon, and used it as a weapon to sweep out in all directions. He released an extremely terrifying radiance that could split the world in half. Peerless Saint King also attacked, and countless sword chi slashed at the desolate canyon. Boom! The desolate canyon spread out, as if it was a real canyon that had crossed through time and space, and the surroundings were filled with murderous aura. With mountains of corpses and seas of blood surrounding it, it was an extremely terrifying scene. Buzz! At this moment, another figure disappeared, and when it reappeared, it was already behind Peerless Saint King. It was a killing saint of the mortal world, and his strength was so strong that he could appear and disappear unpredictably. The killing sword in his hand pierced towards Peerless Saint King. A devouring vortex appeared behind Peerless Saint King, blocking the sword. At the same time, Immortal Scholar attacked from the sky, and the sky was instantly covered in ice. This caused frost to appear on the killing saint's body. The killing saint quickly retreated, but was sent flying by Kunlun Mountain. This battle was extremely terrifying, and the surrounding void was shattered. Even if the saints below were not killed by Lin Xian and the others, they were torn to pieces by the Holy Lord's aura, and turned into blood mist. Holy Lord Divine Ghost was extremely powerful, and his sword swept across. It was a sword of the heavens, and it crushed the 9 heavens. With one sword, heaven and earth were shattered, and the scene was too terrifying. It was as if the 9 heavens had turned into a peerless divine sword, and it instantly crushed everything. The phantom of Kunlun Mountain was split apart by the sword, and Holy Lord Kunlun was also sent flying, his face pale. One had to admit that the sword techniques of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were absolutely unparalleled. This divine sword could be called the Sword Realm. Tens of thousands of sword chi slashed in all directions. At this moment, a huge sword realm pressed down from the sky. Not only did it attack the Holy Lords, but it also attacked Lin Xian and the others. In just an instant, heaven and earth were pierced and shattered. It was too terrifying. Lin Xian and the others also quickly dodged, their faces pale. At the same time, Wuji Saint King roared into the sky, and the world trembled, and the stars dimmed. He charged towards Soaring Sky Saint King. The terrifying Wuji laws kept surging. Soaring Sky Saint King had transformed into his true form. His true form was a flying praying mantis, and he was waving his 2 blades. He shot out a sky full of blade light to fight against his opponent. These holy lords all had their own unique laws and divine abilities, and they were very terrifying. Buzz! Silver Corpse Holy Lord roared, and he formed a seal with his palms, and directly shot out a bronze coffin. There was a corpse inside. Only half of the corpse was left, but it was incomparably black and extremely strange. As soon as he appeared, a terrifying aura spread in all directions. Seeing this scene, Immortal Scholar roared angrily. Not good, everyone be careful, this is Supreme Saint Corpse Poison. Supreme Saint Corpse Poison! Kunlun Saint King, Luwa Saint King, and the others' expressions changed when they heard this. They had been poisoned by this poison before, and the other party actually had such a terrifying poison in his hands. In an instant, they frantically used their laws to form layers of defense to resist. Immortal Scholar roared angrily and unleashed a terrifying ice attack. Frost danced between heaven and earth. The entire world was frozen, but the Supreme Saint Corpse Poison was indeed very strange. It could still move slowly in this frost. It seemed like it could threaten the life of any Holy Lord. Seeing this scene, Silver Corpse Holy Lord laughed. It's useless, you're all going to die. If this was Supreme Saint Corpse Poison, then it would be useless. If it was related to a Supreme Saint, how could a Holy Lord block it? Holy Emperor Wushuang and the others frowned, and even the deity Dao Yunyan's people had cold expressions. They did not expect them to have such a thing in their hands. At this moment, a figure walked out and said, "Let's use that thing." After he finished speaking, he began to form seals with his hands. Suddenly, a formation was formed, and a blue bead was summoned out of the formation. It was like a blue sun, shining in all directions. The Pearl of Purification. It was also an extremely terrifying weapon of a Holy Lord, and it specialized in purifying all poisons. The appearance of the Pearl of Purification slowed down the Supreme Saint Corpse Poison. However, Silver Corpse Holy Lord snorted coldly. He held the bronze coffin and charged forward, and the half-corpse inside emitted an even more terrifying aura. Even the Pearl of Purification could not block it. At this moment, the faces of these people turned ugly. Chapter 4392. The thing in his hand should be the corpse of a supreme sage. This was an unparalleled treasure, but it was refined into corpse poison by the other party. It seemed that he had to take out the corpse of a supreme sage. At this moment, the unparalleled Sage King said that there was still a chance. "Everyone, give me your power. I have a way." The Sage Kings released their power, and the devouring vortex devoured their power. Then, he said telepathically, "Junior brother, use the great dragon sword." Lin Xian nodded. The vortex came behind him. Feeling the terrifying power, he instantly struck out a dragon-shaped sword shadow. Instantly, it drew a dragon head and directly devoured the power in the vortex. The great dragon sword soul burst out, releasing a peerless sword light. At this moment, the world became dark. The divine ghost sword king's body trembled. His firmament sword was so powerful before, sweeping across an area with an invincible aura. But now, in front of the dragon's sword, it lost its luster. What is that? The divine ghost sword king looked at the sword chi between heaven and earth, and his eyes instantly turned red. As a peerless sword saint, such a treasure made him go crazy. He quickly charged over with the firmament sword, wanting to snatch the sword shadow. But at this moment, Lin Xian waved his arm. The dragon sword intent descended, and the firmament sword was directly sent flying. The divine ghost sword king had one of his arms chopped off. He returned in a sorry state, and his eyes were filled with fear. Damn it, it's that kid! They all stared at Lin Xian. These sage kings were stunned. How could a young man have such a terrifying treasure? It could even injure a sage king. Damn it! Kill him quickly. The sage king's eyes emitted a biting cold killing intent. The silver corpse holy king unleashed his great sage corpse poison, transforming into a giant black dragon that pounced forward with bared fangs and claws. Under the supreme sage corpse poison, everything would be turned into ashes. Lin Xian used the great sword soul. Invincible form. It swept through everything. The terrifying dragon-shaped sword chi flew out, turning into a sword Dao world, directly suppressing heaven and earth. When the black storm met the dragon-shaped sword chi, it let out an earth-shattering sound. Then, it quickly dissipated. The Saint Kings were also stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. That was the corpse poison of a great sage, yet it had actually been blocked by him? Furthermore, he had destroyed it. What kind of swordsmanship was this? Great, it's working! The Kunlun's sacred king and the others smiled as they heaved a sigh of relief. That was because they were most worried about something like the great sage corpse poison. Once it was unleashed, no one would be able to withstand it. But now, things were different. If they could block the great sage corpse poison, then they would be able to sweep through everything in their path. Sure enough, these people once again channeled their energy into the great dragon sword spirit. The sword spirit destroyed everything and split the black storm apart. After that, Lin Xian controlled the great dragon sword soul and charged towards the bronze coffin. How could it be like this? The silver corpse holy king and the others' expressions became ugly. They roared. It had to be a coincidence. Kill! They were also riding on the bronze coffins as they charged over at high speed. The two of them collided between heaven and earth. The great dragon sword spirit had completely suppressed the Supreme Saint's corpse poison, making it unable to threaten the other Saint Kings. Attack! When the immortal scholar saw this scene, he led the people of the deity Dao Union and quickly attacked. They swept through the area. They already had the upper hand. Now that they had nothing to worry about, they were even more powerful. In an instant, a few Saint Kings from the mortal world fell. The Silver Corpse Holy King and the others were also forced to retreat. Below them, Linghu Chuishue and the others were even more powerful as they swept through the area. None of the elders, experts, or geniuses of the great desolate mansion could escape. In the end, the people of the mortal world had to retreat. The Silver Corpse Holy King also felt his scalp go numb. He roared and quickly retreated. No, what about the Saint City? The desolate heaven Holy King roared. This was their Saint City. If they retreated, the great desolate mansion would cease to exist. Boom! At that moment, a fist landed on his body, breaking him apart. At the same time, the flood dragon's scissors in the sky sliced his blood mist apart. The desolate heaven Holy King was scared out of his wits. He did not dare to stay any longer. If they were destroyed, so be it. As long as they were alive, they could rebuild the Saint City. At that thought, the Saint Kings all retreated. You want to leave? The immortal scholar finally cast the indestructible cold sky array. The terrifying array formation suppressed the surroundings. The desolate heaven holy king had retreated too late, and was instantly sealed in ice. When the old Saint King saw this, he roared crazily and attacked with an unparalleled power. However, when he sensed the icy aura, he did not dare to get close. He could only attack from afar. The monstrous power was like a peerless sword light that swept through everything. However, it was useless. The peerless Saint King and the others came forward and looked at the frozen desolate heaven holy king, and sneered. "You didn't expect this, did you? Go to hell." The peerless Saint King slashed with his sword and split the desolate heaven holy king apart. Then, he used the law of devouring to destroy the desolate heaven holy king's soul. The desolate heaven holy king roared crazily. "Damn it, I'll fight it out with you." He wanted to die together with them. However, he could not do so in the array. In the end, he was killed by the peerless Saint King and the others. His soul was destroyed. Is he dead? Their Saint King has fallen. The people of the great desolate mansion who were still resisting were dumbfounded when they saw this. They felt as if the sky had collapsed. It was at this time that more and more people fell. "Damn it! Run! Let's save as many as we can!" The old Saint King roared in the sky. Then, his eyes turned red as he stared at the peerless Saint King. "One day, I'll tear you to shreds." Boom! With that, he turned around and left. At this moment, a ray of light flashed and chopped off one of his arms. An old man in plain clothes held a sickle in the sky. He looked like an ordinary old man, but his strength was extremely strong. He sliced the old man apart with a single slash. Damn it, the old Saint King thought. He could feel his strength slipping away. After all, he did not have much lifespan left. Now, he was desperate to recover to his peak. After such a long battle, he had used up a lot of his strength. If he continued to fight, he would not have any strength left. At that time, even if these people did not kill him, his soul would be destroyed. Therefore, he roared angrily and tore open the void to escape. Chase. These people chased after him crazily. The people of the deity Tao Union were even more aggressive. In the end, 2 mortal realm-killing sages fell. Even the silver corpse Saint King's body exploded. The soaring Saint King and the divine ghost Saint King were also injured. However, in the end, they used the great sage's corpse to escape quickly. The peerless Saint King and the people of the deity Tao Union returned. They arrived at the great desolate mansion. The elites of the great desolate mansion had already been killed. The remaining people could not resist at all. They were all kneeling on the ground. The peerless Saint King used the devouring law. It floated between heaven and earth, and covered the entire great desolate mansion. Then, he said, "Don't be a member of the great desolate mansion in your next life. Reincarnate." With that, he waved his hand and swallowed the entire great desolate mansion. From then on, the great desolate mansion, the sacred city, disappeared. Chapter 4393. The second astral realm was in an uproar. The destruction of a saint city was too shocking. It could be said that it had swept across the entire astral realm. Countless warriors were talking about this matter everywhere. Peerless City was too strong. Previously, they were sealed by the 3 saint cities. Now, they had destroyed a saint city. He was going to take his revenge. Someone exclaimed. Someone else said, "No, I heard that it wasn't just for revenge. There were other reasons." The Saint King of the Great Desolate Mansion was actually a member of the world of men. That was why so many saint cities had attacked them. World of men? That ancient and legendary assassin palace? Many people were shocked. That was an extremely terrifying existence. No wonder the Great Desolate Mansion was destroyed. What would happen to the other saint cities? Everyone was stunned. At the same time, the other saint cities were also in an uproar. People like the Myriad Demon City and the Myriad Sword Pavilion were shocked beyond words. The Soaring Sky Saint King and the Divine Ghost Saint King immediately gathered a group of experts after returning. They brought along some of the top geniuses and experts with them. The others were all sealed. They had chosen the same method as Peerless City, which was to seal the entire Saint City to tide over this crisis. The Myriad Demon City did the same. The two Saint Cities were sealed and disappeared into the void. This caused many people to exclaim. From the looks of it, the two Saint Cities had bowed their heads and sealed themselves. Everyone's gaze fell on the Acheron Palace. After all, the Acheron Palace was in charge of this matter. What would the Acheron Palace do? Would they gather their forces and launch a counterattack, or seal themselves? The Silver Corpse Saint King clenched his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. Damn it, he was so angry that he vomited blood. To be honest, he wanted to gather these Saint Kings and bring the world of men back. However, on this day, Saint King Yenling sent a message to the true spirit world. He wanted him to seal the Saint City and bring people to the true spirit world. Damn it, I'll let those people be arrogant for a while. One day, the second astral realm will be ours. The Silver Corpse Saint King also brought a few geniuses and sealed the Saint City. Then, they began their journey to the true spirit world. On the other side, the Peerless Saint King and the others had gathered together to discuss what to do next. The deity Dao Union's people left again, hiding in the world. As for the other Saint Kings, after discussing with each other, they decided to put up the strongest defense for the holy city before taking their disciples to the true spirit world. After all, the day of opening the seal was very close. They had to hurry over and send these geniuses to the buried Emperor Star. True spirit world. As more and more geniuses appeared one after another, the martial path of the true spirit world flourished once again. Right now, they are talking about the geniuses that came from the buried Emperor Star. That Han Chong was too terrifying. Earlier, he had challenged an expert of the older generation and had actually won within 10 moves. It was unknown what level his true strength had reached. That's right, other than Han Chong, that Hui Yu is also incomparably strong. This person's moonlight power seemed to be able to sweep through everything. It was even stronger than the Holy Lands. I've heard that there's an even more terrifying existence above them. She's like a fairy from the 9th heaven. It's said that even Han Chong has to be respectful when he sees her. What? There's such an existence? Where was that fairy? Exclamations of surprise could be heard. However, at this moment, a person walked over and said, "Those people you're talking about are very strong, but they're not invincible. As far as I know, these rising geniuses have also been defeated." What? These geniuses have been defeated? That's impossible. The surrounding people were shocked. Someone also said, "That's right, who defeated them? Could it be the Alcade Saint Sun? Or the Gu family's genius? Or perhaps the Yi family's expert?" There were also some peak geniuses in the true spirit world. However, it seemed that these people hadn't made a move yet. No, it said that this person came from the second star realm. He's very strong and seems to have defeated Han Chong. What? Han Chong has been defeated? That's impossible. Countless people exclaimed. In their opinion, Han Chong was an extremely peak expert. How could he have been defeated? Could it be Lin Xian? When someone mentioned this name, the others also exclaimed. This person was indeed very strong. However, that person did indeed say that it wasn't Lin Xian, but another person. His name was Chao Tianxing. Was it him? Countless people repeated this name over and over again. Their eyes flickered with astonishing light. It seemed that another extremely terrifying expert was about to rise. To be able to defeat someone from the buried Emperor Star, this Chao Tianxing was definitely heaven-defying. Don't say any more, someone is coming. Hearing those words, everyone shut their mouths. That was because they discovered that there were a few figures walking over from the front. One of them was Han Chong. Their expressions became terrified. Han Chong's gaze was cold, and his body carried endless cold air. He was like an ice god. After he arrived, he said, "Were you guys talking about Chao Tianxing?" The others were so scared that their scalps went numb. Han Chong did say, "If it's this person, then yes, I have indeed lost to him. he's very strong. Speaking of this, a trace of coldness appeared in Han Chang's eyes. After he arrived, he swept through everything. Other than the monarch races and some extremely powerful sacred grounds, he didn't challenge anyone. The others were no match for him at all. He didn't expect that he would be defeated by someone from the second star realm. However, he also knew that Chao Tianxing was indeed very strong. If he was given another chance, he probably wouldn't be able to defeat him. At this moment, a person next to him laughed. He didn't expect that in the true spirit world. There were still experts. I feel that the Holy Daughter of the All Beginnings Holy Land is very powerful. Although I defeated her, it was only a narrow victory. Once those words were said, the surrounding people were astonished. Soon after, the people at the front mentioned the names of several other geniuses. As they stood there, they were all talking about the peak experts and geniuses of the world. However, their expressions were calm and composed. It was as if they controlled the world. At this moment, a blue-robed young man said, "The geniuses from the Void Land were also very strong. They were indeed worthy of attention." The surrounding people were puzzled. The Void Lands? To ordinary people, this was very unfamiliar. However, to some peak experts, their pupils fiercely shrank. That was the Immortal Guardian clan. Their strength was also mysterious and incomparably terrifying. However, right at this moment, a sneer was heard. "Speaking of the Void Lands, how come I heard that you were defeated by someone in the Void Lands?" "What?" Once those words were said, the surrounding people burst into an uproar. The people from the buried Emperor's Star were defeated by someone again? The heavens? Apart from Chao Tianxing, who else could it be? Could it be Chao Tianxing again? The blue-robed young man's expression immediately sank. This was his scar. Now, someone actually dared to expose his scar. Who was it? Chapter 4394. Who is it? Does he want to die? The blue-robed man roared angrily. His gaze swept across, tearing through the void. In the next moment, he saw a man in battle armor opposite him, looking at him with a cold smile. "It's you." The blue-robed man frowned, and the others also turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they saw that in addition to the man in battle armor, there were a few other people with prominent horns. Their auras were extraordinary, and they were walking over with large strides. Who were these people? Could it be that they came from the same place as Han Chong and the others? Otherwise, they wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. The leader was a man in a cloud robe. His black hair fluttered, and his aura was powerful. His entire person was abnormally mysterious, and he had a powerful aura. It seemed that he was also an expert. "Jingyun, he's here too?" The people on Han Chang's side exclaimed. The blue-robed man's expression darkened. He stared at the armored man and gritted his teeth. "Don't think that you can be arrogant in front of me just because you have Jingyun's support. You'd better take back what you said just now, or don't blame me for being impolite." The armored man sneered. "Impolite? Oh, I want to see how you're going to be impolite. I heard that you've lost to someone twice in a row. A piece of trash like you isn't qualified to compete with me." The aura between the two sides became cold. It seemed that they were about to fight if there was a disagreement. The surrounding people also exclaimed. It seemed that these people were indeed from the same place. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so confrontational. More and more experts were appearing in their world. Why? Were they going to fight in advance? At this moment, another voice sounded. Countless people turned their heads to look. This time, even Jingyun turned his head. His long and narrow eyes suddenly bloomed with a trace of a biting cold light. He saw that a few more figures were approaching. Walking at the very front was a woman. She wore a blood-red robe and had an extremely cold aura around her. She seemed to be even stronger than Han Chong. "Shui Linglong, you're here too." Jingyun grinned. "How was it? What did you gain during this period of time? Are there any opponents worthy of your attention in the true spirit world?" After hearing this, Shui Linglong snorted coldly. What was there to pay attention to? How could the people here be compared to us? Too weak. Hearing this, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. Arrogant, really too arrogant. To think that he didn't place the entire true spirit world in his eyes. One had to know that the true spirit world was also an extremely terrifying existence with an extremely powerful foundation. Not only were there super powerful holy lands, but there were also ancient families. But now, these people actually didn't care about him at all. However, they soon sighed. That was because, during this period of time, those geniuses were no match for them at all. Unless it was the Alcade Saint, an extremely mysterious and terrifying figure, who made a move. Or perhaps, it would be a genius from a great emperor clan like Gu Feng. However, these people had yet to make a move. Even if these people could win, how many of them would there be? The vast majority of people were not a match for these people, so these people did indeed have the capital to be arrogant. These words were a little too much. The true spirit world was extraordinary. Although it was in a sealed state most of the time, it wasn't something that could be casually looked down upon. At the very least, the members of the remote antiquity families could not afford to be careless. In addition, there were also some people from the Holy Lands who were equally terrifying and mysterious. Someone spoke up for the true spirit world, and the surrounding people turned their heads. In the next moment, they saw a person with flickering runes all over his body walk out. This person had runes all over his body, and they combined together as if they were the 8 trigrams. He was holding a crystal ball in his hand. Inside the crystal ball were countless stars that flickered and disappeared. It was incomparably mysterious. Shui Linglong frowned when she saw this scene. Zhang Sun Tiance. Do you know how annoying you are? Don't act as if you can control the world and calculate close to 10,000 worlds. In fact, you can't calculate anything at all. I've indeed underestimated them, but so what? Now, is there anyone who can block 3 of my moves? Shui Linglong was unusually domineering. Damn it! She's going too far. Who's going to make a move? The people of the true spirit world gritted their teeth. However, no one dared to move forward. Shui Linglong sneered. Did you see that? I've already given them a lot of face by calling them trash. Such people are even worse than trash. What qualifications do they have to be worthy of my attention? Shui Linglong became more and more arrogant, and the eyes of the people of the true spirit world turned red. Why wasn't their expert here? Where was the Alcade Saint? Where was Gu Feng? Where were the Yi family's experts? Why didn't anyone come out? Lin Xian frowned as well. Weren't these people a little too arrogant? How hateful. Thinking of this, he used the 10 absolute sword formation to form a clone and walked out. Shut up. Do you really think there's no one in the true spirit world? Lin Xian's clone walked out with large strides, emitting a terrifying aura. The surrounding people were stunned. Someone really appeared. The people of the true spirit world were excited. Great, kill him. Suppress him. These people waved their fists. However, some people also frowned. Who is it? Is it the Alcade Saint? No, it's not the Alcade Saint, nor is it someone from the remote antiquity family. Then who is this person? The people of the buried Emperor's Star also turned their heads. Does anyone dare to come out? Shui Linglong also had a look of disdain. Who are you? You dare to be arrogant in front of me? Are you tired of living? Hurry up and scram. Didn't you say that no one in this world could withstand 3 moves from you? Now that I've come out, you don't dare to make a move? I think you're the trash. You're the one who's inferior to an ant. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. When these words came out, the surrounding people became excited. However, the geniuses of the buried Emperor Star frowned. Shui Linglong's face sank. What did you say? Brat, say it again. Senior Sister Linglong, an ant doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. There's no need for you to make a move. I'll kill him. With just you? I don't make a move against nameless people. You should scram. Otherwise, your end will be very miserable. Lin Xian's clone was also incomparably arrogant. He was infuriating the other party. "You're courting death." That person's figure flashed and rushed over. A long saber was formed in his hand and he swept it out. The saber light was biting cold, destroying everything. It was as if it could split the entire world. Too strong. The expressions of the surrounding people changed greatly. They had to admit that these people were indeed powerful. Any one of them would be able to sweep through everything. Perhaps no one present would be able to block this saber. "Ha ha, die!" The saber wielder who attacked also had a sneer on his face. Chapter 4395. However, when Lin Xian's clone saw this scene, he remained unmoved. When the saber descended, he stretched out 2 fingers and gently grabbed at the sky. Soon, he caught the saber. A clanging sound echoed. The saber was stopped in midair. Then, Lin Xian's arm flew away. With a cracking sound, the saber shattered. As for the saber wielder, his body split into 2 halves. Blood sprinkled down from the sky. "Ah!" A crazy roar echoed. The surrounding people were all stunned. "What happened?" The saber wielder roared and the 2 halves of his body quickly retreated. However, Lin Xian slapped out with his palm and directly turned the broken body into a bloody mist. Sword chi filled the sky and destroyed the saber wielder's soul. Dead? Everyone was stunned. Even the people from the buried Emperor Star were stunned. What happened? The other party actually killed one of their people. "Do you want to die?" Shui Linglong roared. The people behind him pulled out their swords and sabers and stepped forward. They firmly locked onto Lin Xian. "Kid, obediently kneel down and accept your death. You dared to kill our companion. No one in the heavens or the earth can save you." A series of furious roars could be heard. On the other side, Han Chong, Jing Yun and the others frowned. Their gazes locked onto Lin Xian's clone. They wanted to completely see through him. However, they discovered that the other party's entire body was enveloped by an extremely powerful great Tao and sword light. They were simply unable to clearly see who it was. Facing such a terrifying lineup, Lin Xian did not care at all. He sneered. "What? You can't take it anymore?" "I gave him a chance to scram, but he didn't cherish it. Also, do you think I'm going overboard? During this period of time, you've fought everywhere and killed many experts and geniuses of the true spirit world." Lin Xian's voice became ice cold. The others also clenched their fists. Indeed, these people from the buried Emperor Star had held back at the beginning. However, recently, all the geniuses and experts who had been defeated by them had been killed. It could be said that the number of geniuses of true spirit world that had died at his hands was innumerable. Now, Lin Xian was just using the same method to return the favor. "Humph, who do you think you are? How can you compare our lives?" The men gnashed their teeth. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Are you challenging me now?" As he said that, he struck out with his palm again. A stream of sword chi flew out from his palm and streaked across the sky. Courting death. That person was also a peerless swordsman. With a furious roar, sword chi danced in the air, and a terrifying sword Tao aura roared unceasingly. The laws of heaven and earth filled the air. However, in an instant he was pierced through. How could this be? How could his opponent's sword chi be so terrifying? The surrounding people also cried out in surprise. Who was this person? He was too strong. Killing people from the buried Emperor Star was like squashing ants. This was really too inconceivable. One had to know that they came from the buried Emperor Star. They were high and mighty gods while these people were ants. However, in front of this person, their status seemed to have changed. This made it difficult for them to accept. "All of you retreat. I will personally take care of him." Shui Linglong waved her hand. Immediately, the surrounding people unwillingly retreated. However, their eyes were filled with sneers. With Shui Linglong making a move, the other party would undoubtedly die. Sure enough, Shui Linglong also walked forward. She looked at Lin Xian and said, "Your strength is not bad. You have exceeded our expectations. However, you are simply not my match. I will give you a chance to live. Obediently kneel down and kowtow to me as an apology. Furthermore, from today onwards, you will follow me and become my battle servant. I can spare your life. You are not qualified to say such words. Moreover, I feel that your vision is too low. Do you really think that you are high and mighty? I can only say that you have seen too few experts. Lin Xian's voice was ice cold. He was unmoved. However, Xue Linglong frowned. Very good. Kid, you have backbone. However, it is a pity that you are very stupid. Since you don't submit, then go to hell. From the looks of it, you should be a very terrifying sword saint. Since that is the case, I will let you fall in the strongest domain. I will let you experience my snow wind sword. Xue Linglong pulled out her sword. It was a sword made of ice. As soon as she appeared, the surrounding 9 heavens and 10 earths froze. The sword she swayed, and the boundless law of ice filled the surroundings. There were also wind laws in the surroundings. The snow wind sword was a terrifying sword technique formed by 2 types of laws. After 3 moves, you will definitely die. With a slash of the sword, the snow wind sword technique erupted. The surroundings were completely enveloped by terrifying frost and storm bricks. The surrounding people frantically retreated. They did not dare to resist at all. Even the people of the buried Emperor Star retreated far away. Xue Linglong's snow wind sword was famous in the world. Perhaps no one could withstand 3 moves from her. With such a sword technique, you want to kill me in 3 moves? Ridiculous. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he laughed. The surrounding laws quickly condensed and formed a sword of laws in his hand. Then, he slashed it forward. This sword was like a peerless immortal light. It collided with the snow wind sword in the sky. Immediately, the wind and clouds changed and heaven and earth shattered. After the collision, the 2 swords spun in the air at the same time. Xue Linglong frowned. Then she stabbed out with her sword. At this moment, all the sword chi in the world gathered on the tip of her sword and stabbed forward. At this moment, all the experts and geniuses felt their hair stand on end. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. Another sword strike blocked the other party's attack. 2 sword attacks. There was still a 3rd sword attack. Could Xue Linglong win? The surrounding people became nervous. They naturally hoped that Lin Xian would win. After all, this represented their true spirit world. As for the people of the buried Emperor Star, they were also frowning. Xue Linglong wouldn't be at a disadvantage, right? Han Chong shook his head. Impossible. Her ice laws are above mine. If you want her to be at a disadvantage, you will have to send a peak expert. Otherwise, only a sacred king would be able to do it. However, just as he finished speaking, his pupils shrank. Because after the 2 sword attacks, Lin Xian took a step forward. He laughed loudly and said, "Take a look at my sword technique." When the sword flew out, 10 types of laws danced between heaven and earth. This power was too terrifying. The sword she slashed down as if it wanted to destroy heaven and earth. At this moment, the expressions of the people of the buried Emperor Star changed. Lightning laws, fire laws, wood laws. Damn it, so many laws. Who was this guy? They discovered that this sword attack seemed to contain many kinds of laws. How did he fuse them together so perfectly? Xue Linglong's pupils shrank. She had not even used her 3rd sword attack yet, but she was facing such a powerful attack. She had never thought that she would face danger. In a hurry, she could only quickly defend. There was very little sword chi, but it formed a powerful divine ability. Snow wind protection. A diagram of wind and snow circled around him, blocking the attack. Chapter 4396. The wind, snow, and frost that filled the sky seemed to want to freeze the sword chi. The 10 extinction swords descended, releasing a heaven-shaking sound. Everything between heaven and earth was enveloped by light, making it impossible to see anything clearly. The surrounding people also continuously retreated. When the light in front of them disappeared, they looked over with rapt attention. Then, they were shocked. The people of the buried Emperor Star were also shocked. They discovered that Xue Linglong had retreated, and the snow wind protection on her body had already shattered. Otherwise, there would be blood flowing out of her body, and a sword wound would appear on her arm. It almost split him apart. Injured? Xue Linglong was actually injured? This was too inconceivable. Han Chong did not dare to believe it. On the other side, Jing Yun's expression was also incomparably solemn. It seemed that this time, they had really encountered an expert. Chang Sun Tian sighed. I already said that there were hidden dragons and crouching tigers in the true spirit world. Don't be careless. But you didn't listen. Now you've suffered. Shut up! Xue Linglong crazily roared. Then she turned her head, her eyes releasing biting cold killing intent. Brat, you've completely angered me. Today, you'll definitely die. Her aura erupted once again, becoming even more terrifying than before. The snow wind sword in her hand seemed to have transformed into a snow wind dragon, dancing between heaven and earth. On the other side, Lin Xian stood proudly, not caring at all. However, at this moment, Lin Xian's real body was startled. That was because he heard a voice transmission. It was transmitted to him by Fu Hongye. It seemed that something was summoning him. Lin Xian took a deep breath and glanced at the battlefield in front of him. Then, his body disappeared into the crowd. In front of him, Lin Xian's clone also said coldly, Today, I'll spare your life. You'd better not meet me in the future. Otherwise, you'll definitely die. After saying that, Lin Xian's body gradually disappeared. You want to leave? How is that possible? Go to hell! Xue Linglong furiously roared, and her sword sheath slashed forward. Snow Wind Dragon. This was an extremely terrifying divine ability. The surroundings were completely destroyed in an instant. Many people were sent flying, vomiting blood. The expressions of the people from the buried Emperor Star changed greatly. Is this woman crazy? She actually used such a shocking move. However, before this sword could land, they saw Lin Xian's body turn into endless nomological laws and disappear into the sky. They were dumbfounded. Was this a law avatar? Xue Linglong was also stunned. Her sword stopped in midair, and her expression became extremely ugly. She was actually injured by a clone. Who was it? His gaze swept across the land. To him, this was simply a great humiliation. Slap his face. When the others learned of this, they all cried out in alarm. How could there be such a top expert in the true spirit world? Could a clone defeat a genius from the buried Emperor Star? How come I've never heard of it? Xue Linglong gritted her teeth. Find him and tear him to pieces. The geniuses of the buried Emperor Star all moved out. However, Lin Xian had already disappeared, so these people couldn't find him. This matter quickly spread out and shocked the world. In an instant, everyone was discussing who exactly it was. On the other side, Lin Xian left and flew into the distance. Soon, he saw Fu Hongye standing there. Little martial ant, Fu Hongye greeted him. Lin Xian asked, What's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? Master seems to want to make a move against the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. Make a move against the 10,000 Swords Pavilion? The 10,000 Swords Pavilion had already sealed the holy city. Moreover, the ghost god Sacred King had brought some experts and geniuses to the true spirit world. If he guessed correctly, they should be together with the Silver Corpse Sacred King. Making a move at this time, are they going to start the final battle? I don't know the details, but Senior Brotherling who told me that they have already found some of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion's elders and geniuses. He said that they can take revenge. Revenge? Lin Xian's eyes flickered and he nodded. It's time to take revenge. Previously, the Acheron Palace, the Great Desolate Mansion, and the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had joined forces to seal Wushuang City. Now that the Great Desolate Mansion had been destroyed, it was time to make the 10,000 Swords Pavilion pay the price. The two turned into lightning and left quickly. Eastern Wilderness. This was a place with a top-grade spiritual vein. The mountains here were like sharp swords standing on the ground, emitting a biting cold aura. There were also sword scars in the surroundings. It was clear that a great battle had taken place here in the past between sword cultivators. Many swordsmen wanted to come and comprehend it. At this moment, there was a group of people here, but their faces were cold. These people were from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. The 10,000 Swords Pavilion had been sealed, but a group of experts and geniuses had walked out. They had followed the sacred king to the true spirit world. At this moment, they had come together to comprehend the sword Dao aura to improve themselves. However, they did not expect to meet the people from the Wushuang city. Linghu Chuixue had brought the personal disciples of the Wushuang city. After arriving, he stared ahead. You guys are really here. The faces of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion's people turned ugly. They knew that the great desolate mansion had been destroyed, so they felt their scalps go numb when they saw Wushuang city. Are they going to attack us? However, when they saw that only Linghu Chuixue and the others were there, the elders of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion in front of them snorted. How dare you come here? Aren't you afraid of going to hell? You want us to go to hell? Who gave you the courage to say such words? A cold voice came from the sky. Then two figures descended. They were Lin Xian and Fu Hongye. Young martial uncle, you're here. Linghu Chuixue, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others bowed when they saw Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and walked forward. Are all the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion here? He looked around. Linghu Chuixue said no, but more than half of them were here, so this was a good opportunity to attack. Lin Xian walked forward and said coldly, The 10,000 Swords Pavilion used a sneak attack on Wushuang City. It's time to pay it back. I'll give you a chance now. If you kneel down and admit your mistakes, we'll give you a quick death. Of course, you can choose to resist, but I can guarantee that you'll regret it later. The faces of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion's people turned cold when they heard Lin Xian's words. One of the elders snorted. Kid, don't be too arrogant. There are only a few of us here. If we really fight, it's hard to say who will win if a sage ruler doesn't intervene. Is that so? Do you want to fight one-on-one or all of us? You decide. We'll accompany you anytime. Lin Xian sneered. Kid, aren't you arrogant? Then do you dare to compete with us in swordsmanship? The elder waved his hand, and 6 more figures walked out. Each of them carried an ancient sword on their back, and their sword chi was sharp. It seemed like they could tear everything apart. Chapter 4397. As soon as they appeared, they stood in different directions, forming an extremely terrifying aura that swept across the surroundings. This mountain range was called Broken Sword Mountain, and countless sword experts were meditating there. Therefore, in addition to the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion, there were also people from the other mountains. At this moment, they all looked over when they sensed the aura. In the next moment, they exclaimed, Is a battle about to break out? When they saw those people forming a terrifying sword formation, their pupils constricted. This aura? It's a very powerful sword formation. Who are these people? Someone said. He heard that they were from the second astral realm and were all sword experts from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. The elder from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion also sneered. Kid, can you withstand our 6 pulses sword formation? If you can't, get lost. Humph, how can a mere sword formation not be able to withstand it? Linghu Chuixue took a step forward, and a terrifying sword aura rose from his body. Fu Hongye, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others also walked out with a terrifying aura. The battle was about to break out. However, Lin Xian said, No, it's just a small sword formation. I don't need you guys to attack together. I'll be fine by myself. Hearing this, the surrounding sword sages were stunned. What kind of joke is this? This kid wants to break such a terrifying sword formation by himself? In their opinion, that was simply audacious. He's courting death. Those who were watching also sneered. You're courting death. All right, you said it yourself. Don't blame us. Don't hold back. 6 experts stood out and surrounded Lin Xian. The 6 of them released a terrifying aura, and everyone was worried for Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian sneered. Make your move, or you won't have a chance. You're courting death. The 6 of them roared and then quickly attacked. Terrifying sword aura swept across, shaking heaven and earth. It was like divine chains that shot down from the sky towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian condensed the 10 absolute swords and slashed out. It was as if a peerless sword light swept across heaven and earth. The light of his sword surpassed the 6 pulses sword formation. Countless people were shocked. With a clang, the sword chi of the 6 pulse sword formation was split apart. Lin Xian's 10 pinnacle swords attacked one of them. That person roared angrily and used a sword formation to block. However, it was completely useless. The other 5 people acted together, and only then did they block this sword. At this moment, the faces of the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were filled with incomparable fear. The sword saints watching the battle from afar were also stunned. Who was this kid? Wasn't his swordsmanship too terrifying? After all, the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had sent out 6 sword experts. No one below the Saint King realm would be able to withstand a sword formation formed by them. However, in Lin Xian's hands, it was as if it could not withstand a single blow, and was easily broken apart. Lin Xian had almost killed a powerful sword saint right there and then. Looks like your sword formation isn't that great either. Lin Xian sneered. Then, he attacked again and a terrifying sword chi flew out. He charged towards the other person. The 10 pinnacle swords formed by 10 types of laws were extremely powerful. Coupled with Lin Xian's strength, it could be said to be able to sweep through everything. No matter how strong the 6 pulse sword formation was, how could it block it? Therefore, Lin Xian suppressed the entire sword formation with one sword. Some of them attacked crazily, and the sword formation changed rapidly. It formed a terrifying attack that enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. 9 suns opening sky. With a slash of his sword, a golden sword light shot into the sky as if it was going to split the world apart. After one attack, the 6 pulse sword formation was directly shattered. One of them was split in half. Then, Lin Xian's long sword swept across. Boom! Another 2 sword saints were split apart. With another slash, everyone was split apart. They vomited blood and their bodies turned into a bloody mist. The 6 pulse sword formation was not bad, but it was a pity that it was used by 6 trash like you, Lin Xian said indifferently. The surrounding people were all stunned. Was he dead? The other party easily broke the 6 pulse sword formation and killed 6 sword Dao experts. It was unbelievable. The people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion became extremely frightened. The people who were watching the battle from afar were also horrified. He was too strong. He was definitely a top genius. No wonder he was so confident. How was that possible? The elders of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion looked extremely grim. They quickly retreated. Damn it, run and inform our Sage King. They wanted to escape quickly. Lin Xian waved his hand. Behind him, Linghu Chuixue, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others all walked up. They began to suppress. Lu Yuan formed a seal with his palms, and countless frosts froze the entire world. Do you think it's possible to escape? A cold voice sounded. The people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were really desperate. This time, they were afraid that they would not be able to escape. However, at this moment, a sword chi descended from the sky. It had an unpredictable power that seemed to be able to suppress everything. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He took out the great spear of destruction, roared angrily, and rushed out. With a boom, the two collided. Lin Xian retreated, his face pale. The boundless devil chi still managed to block the sword. Linghu Chuixue and the others were also shocked. The surrounding people were even more shocked. This was the aura of a Sage King. A sage king had arrived. The people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were so excited that they were about to cry. A sage king! Great! Their divine ghost sword saint had arrived. Boy, do you dare to attack the 10,000 Swords Pavilion? The divine ghost sword saint appeared in the sky and looked down coldly. Lin Xian snorted coldly, holding the great spear of destruction in his hand. He said coldly, "You should have thought of this when you attacked Wushuang City." The people in the distance were stunned. This kid was actually not dead. This kid could actually block the attack of a sage king. One had to know that the gap between a sage king and a sage king was simply too big. A sage king could kill a group of sage kings with a single glance. But at this moment, the other party was still alive. It seems that you have a sage king weapon in your hand. But do you think you can compete with me like this? The difference is too big. The divine ghost sword saint sneered. At this moment, a voice came from behind Lin Xian. Is that so? Then you can try again. The Wushuang Sage King walked out of the vortex. That's great, Master! Linghu Chuishua and the others exclaimed. Lin Xian also nodded. It seemed that the crisis had been resolved. However, even if the Wushuang Sage King did not come, he could still leave calmly. Wushuang, do you really want to be my enemy? The divine ghost sword saint's expression was unusually cold. The Wushuang Sage King sneered. You were the one who wanted to be my enemy first. The Great Desolate Mansion will be your end. If you still remember the Great Desolate Mansion, then today will be the day you die. An old Sage King walked out of the void. It was the old Sage King of the Great Desolate Mansion. At this moment, he had become old again, and his hair was even whiter. It was obvious that using too much power had affected him greatly. However, he still came because he wanted to kill the Wushuang Sage King. The Wushuang Sage King looked around and asked indifferently, Is there anyone else? Stop hiding and come out. Chapter 4398. Soaring Sky Saint King walked out of the void, suppressing the entire area. The sword saints who were watching the battle from afar were stunned. The Saint Kings were attacking together. Heavens, was this going to be a great battle? They retreated frantically. I already knew that you would team up. Did you think I wasn't prepared? As soon as he finished speaking, Kunlun Sage King walked out. So did Wuji Sage King. Is that so? Do you really think you can overturn the heavens this time? After that, the Silver Corpse Sage King walked out. Beside him was another figure. It was Spirit Saint King Yen. Many people's eyes narrowed when they saw this person. Even Lin Xian's expression changed. This was an extremely terrifying Saint King. Mid-stage Saint Venerable. He was different from the old Saint King of the Great Desolate Mansion. Spirit Saint King Yan's chi was very strong. He was probably even stronger. The appearance of Saint King Yan Ling caused everyone to be shocked. Such a terrifying Saint King could definitely sweep through everything. Even Lin Xian and the others frowned. Two more Saint Kings walked over from Peerless Saint King's side. They were Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion's Saint Kings, Joyous Union Palace's Saint Kings, and Vast Sea Shop's Saint Kings. Their auras were unparalleled. When they joined hands, they were no weaker than their opponents. Seeing so many Saint Kings gathered together, a great battle was about to break out. Everyone, please don't fight. At that instant, Shimwang of the Five Elements' sacred land flew over and said. Other than him, another Saint King from a sacred ground also came. It was Saint King of all beginnings. The two of them said that they could discuss anything. There's nothing to discuss. Peerless Saint King said coldly. On the other side, Silver Corpse Saint King also snorted. Do you think we're afraid of you? The killing intent between the two sides became sharper. However, Five Elements Saint King and Saint King of all beginnings said that if they really wanted to fight, they should abide by the rules and not fight in the eastern wilderness. It was better to fight in the outer region. They were here because they were afraid that the battle between the Saint Kings would affect the entire eastern wilderness. Yes, there were other solutions. For example, they could let the younger generation fight. These Saint Kings were too strong. It was better to let the younger generation fight. Peerless Saint King laughed. Do you think they dare? That's too much. Saint King Divine Ghost snorted. He stared ahead and said, why wouldn't he dare to let the young disciples fight? However, this fellow could not make a move. Isn't he your junior brother? Isn't he no longer part of the younger generation? Oh, really? So you admit that you and I are on equal footing? Lin Xian also sneered. Very well, have your disciples and grand-disciples come over, kowtow to me, and call me ancestor. I won't do it. Damn it. Saint King Divine Ghost snorted coldly. The faces of the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion turned ugly. On the other hand, Peerless Saint King said, sure, my junior brother won't fight. How about it? Do you dare this time? Next, the younger generation continued their battles. However, the results were shocking. Even if Lin Xian didn't make a move, Ling Huichuixue, Fu Hongye, and the other personal disciples were equally terrifying. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were no match for him. Even Wan Jianni was defeated by Ling Huichuixue again. Many of the geniuses were even slain. This scene caused Saint King Divine Ghost's heart to bleed. He snorted coldly, and his body once again emitted a biting cold killing intent. However, at this moment, someone walked over from afar. Was someone teaching him? It seemed to be the people from the second astral realm. Hearing this voice, the Saint Kings all turned their heads and looked over. The people in the distance were even more shocked. Another Saint King had come? However, they were surprised when they discovered that it wasn't a group of young people, but the people from the buried Emperor Star. Peerless Saint King and the others also narrowed their eyes. What were the people from the buried Emperor Star doing here at this time? I heard that there are many geniuses in the second astral realm. I wonder if we can exchange pointers now? Someone said coldly. Another person said, along the way, I've always heard that the personal disciples of Peerless Saint City are very powerful. Why don't we fight now? Hearing this, the surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air. Were these people going to challenge again? Saint King Divine Ghost and the others sneered coldly. Ling Huichuixue said, if you want to challenge, sure, but let's take revenge first. After saying that, they wanted to continue fighting. However, those people walked over and said, what? You don't want to fight with us? You're not giving us face. Their faces darkened, and their bodies emitted an extremely terrifying aura. Lin Xian frowned. Ling Huichuixue and the others also said, are you trying to stop us from taking revenge? Or are you planning to help the 10,000 Swords Pavilion? I'll help the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. What's wrong? If you have the ability, then fight me. Those people sneered. Ling Huichuixue and the others' faces became incomparably cold. Lin Xian also frowned. What was going on? Could it be that these people from the buried Emperor Star were invited by Saint King Divine Ghost and the others? Suddenly, he remembered something. Back in the primordial grotto, Saint King's spirit Yen had invited the Reincarnation Protector. Beside the Reincarnation Protector sat Han Chong and the others. In other words, Saint King's spirit Yen was related to the Reincarnation Protector. That was why he was able to invite these people. Since you want to fight, we'll accompany you to the end. Ling Huichuixue, Fu Hongye, and the others coldly snorted. They could tell that these people were here to cause trouble. Since that's the case, they won't be polite. The surrounding people were stunned. With so many Saint Kings appearing together, other than the Sword Saints in the distance, the other people from the eastern wasteland also came over. They were watching the battle from afar. When they saw this scene, they all cried out in alarm. It seems that another top-level battle is about to erupt. At this time, Lin Xian also walked over. I was wondering who you were. It turns out that you're a defeated opponent. Trash like you don't have the qualifications to be arrogant in front of us. Who are you? Those people from the buried Emperor Star stared at Lin Xian, their eyes releasing biting cold killing intent. Lin Xian stared at the blue-robed man with a trace of disdain in his eyes. The blue-robed man was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Damn it, that kid is actually here. His expression became incomparably unsightly. A bunch of nonsense. Back in the Void Land, it was you who sneak attacked me. I was careless. That's why I was defeated. Otherwise, you think you're my match? Oh, is that so? Fine, I'll give you a chance. Attack me with all your strength. If I can't kill you in one move, I'll admit defeat. Lin Xian waved his hand, his eyes containing a trace of sneer. After the surrounding people heard this, they were incomparably shocked. A genius from the buried Emperor Star who was defeated in one move? Who is this person? He's too arrogant. Countless people cried out in alarm. Even those Saint Kings were startled. They don't believe that Lin Xian has such strength. Chapter 4399. The blue-robed man was even more furious. He was so angry that he almost went crazy. At this moment, the armored man on the side of Jingyun said, Lan Qin, he has already issued such a challenge. Don't tell me you don't dare to accept it. If you can't even block a single move from him, what qualifications do you have to stand here? I think you should scram back to your family as soon as possible. Damn it, shut up! Lan Qin roared. Then, he raised his head and stared at Lin Xian. His eyes blossomed with incomparable killing intent. Kid, you don't know the difference between life and death. I will definitely make you regret it. Since the other party has issued such a challenge, how can he not accept it? In the next moment, he furiously roared and his palms continuously formed seals. 9 blue lights appeared on his body and connected with each other, forming a blue palace that released an incomparable aura. Is this the legendary Blue Sea Star Palace? Many people on the buried Emperor Star were astonished. It seems that Lan Qin is really going all out. He is going to use his strongest divine ability right from the start. Feeling the terror of the Blue Palace, the people from the 10,000 Sword Pavilion sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Even Ling Huchuixue and the others had incomparably grave expressions. They naturally felt the terror of this attack. As expected of someone from the buried Emperor Star, he is really too strong. Kid, this is the result of provoking me. Lan Qin roared and controlled the South Sea Palace to fly out. At this moment, everyone became nervous. The sage rulers were also incomparably nervous. After all, the other party is a genius from the buried Emperor Star. Lin Xian sneered again and again. When the other party attacked, he sent out a palm. His palm was covered with endless light, as if it had turned into a golden sun. It was incomparably resplendent. With a boom, this attack collided with the other party's immortal palace, erupting with an incomparable aura. The surrounding mountains continued to shatter, and the earth began to split apart. After this attack, it was as if thousands of suns in the sky had cracked together. Then, cracks appeared on the Blue Sea Star Palace. It was torn apart. Boom! Lan Qin's body was also affected by this attack and quickly retreated. However, it was not over. Lin Xian's hand did not stop there. He grabbed the other party's neck and ruthlessly slammed him to the ground. Boom! The earth shattered, spreading in all directions, and a black hole appeared. Lan Qin felt dizzy, and cracks appeared on his body. He let out a painful roar. The surrounding people were completely stunned. Heavens, what's going on? Was Lan Qin really defeated in a single move? That was the most powerful technique. Even Sacred King Divine Ghost, Sacred King Silver Corpse, and the others were shocked. They knew about Lan Qin's identity. The geniuses from the powerful clans of the buried Emperor Star would definitely be able to sweep through everything here. Apart from the people from the Emperor clan, no one else was their match. But now, he had actually lost. Furthermore, he was defeated in a single move. They looked at Lin Xian with a cold look in their eyes. Such a person must not be allowed to live. Because to them, the threat was too great. Ah! Damn it, I'm going to kill you! Lan Qin, who was on the ground, kept roaring. The power in his body surged again. It seemed like he wanted to counterattack. However, Lin Xian stepped on him and said coldly, "Trash, if you move again, I'll kill you." Everyone's eyes almost popped out. A genius from the buried Emperor Star was actually treated like this. Sure enough, those people from the buried Emperor Star furiously roared. "Damn it, take your foot away. You actually dared to injure Lan Chen. You're dead. Brat, quickly kneel down and apologize, otherwise I'll tear you into 10,000 pieces." "What, you don't accept it? If you don't accept it, then come and fight. I guarantee that your end will be even more miserable than his." Lin Xian's gaze swept all around. His eyes contained a trace of coldness. Those people in front of him were all stunned. For a moment, no one dared to speak. The reason for that was because the power that Lin Xian had unleashed earlier was simply too powerful. It had caused them to feel apprehensive. Seeing that no one dared to say anything, Lin Xian coldly groaned. "Truly a bunch of trash. What genius from the buried Emperor Star! In my opinion, you're just SOSO. Damn it! Those people were so angry that they vomited blood. They are high and mighty. When have they ever been suppressed like this?" Lin Xian looked around and stared at some other people. He looked at the battle-armored man and said, "You were the one who hooted before, right? You think you're stronger than him? Then make a move, I'll give you a chance." The battle-armored man's expression instantly became unsightly. He was indeed arrogant, but he didn't expect that Lin Xian's strength would be so strong. However, since he was targeted in public, he couldn't not make a move. Therefore, in the next moment he said, "Brat, my strength is not something that Lan Chen can compare to. Since you're challenging me, I can only say that you're courting death. Enough nonsense, come here and accept your death." Lin Xian waved his hand and directly grabbed forward. The battle-armored man's figure flashed, and he instantly dodged. His expression became completely gloomy. Then, countless laws appeared on his body and quickly spread out, forming a mirror. This mirror bloomed in the sky, causing the entire sky to darken. And within the mirror, a ray of light appeared. It was extremely terrifying. "Brat, go to hell under my heaven-breaking mirror." With a roar, the heaven-breaking mirror exploded with an incomparable light. It could even pierce through the sky, let alone a young man. At this moment, the mountains and rivers shattered and everything in the surroundings was cracking. The people of the true spirit world went crazy. What kind of method was this? It was simply unimaginable. As for Lin Xian, he laughed loudly. "Kill!" His palm formed the man-ruler seal and slapped forward. Boundless power surged out, and a domineering aura enveloped the world. It directly collided with the opponent's heaven-breaking mirror. With an earth-shattering boom, it shook the world. The man-ruler seal bloomed with light and swept across the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Cracks appeared on the heaven-breaking mirror, and then the mirror shattered. The battle-armored man vomited blood and was sent flying again. Then, he was grabbed by Lin Xian's palm and stepped on. At this moment, everyone was stunned. The people of the buried Emperor Star were stunned. Had the heaven-breaking mirror been shattered? Damn it, what kind of secret technique did this guy use? Some people's expressions turned ugly. This was a secret technique from the eternal battlefield. Damn it, he had been to the eternal battlefield. Moreover, he had obtained a heaven-defying fortune. With this little strength, you dare to challenge me? It seems that you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Lin Xian stepped on the 2 geniuses. Then, he said coldly, "Previously it was a grudge between Wushuang's city and the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. But what about you? Relying on your powerful status, you came to help the 10,000 Swords Pavilion suppress Wushuang's city. I can only say that you have miscalculated. I want to see if you still dare to interfere in the matters of Wushuang's city. Get lost!" Lin Xian roared. His voice was like thunder, shaking the 9 heavens. Chapter 4400. Sacred Monarch, Divine Ghost, and the others had extremely unsightly expressions. The 10,000 Sword Pavilion's people were dumbfounded. The other party's strength was so strong that even if they attacked together, they wouldn't be his match. The buried Emperor Star's people had unsightly expressions. A figure walked out. He was wearing a cloud robe and his aura was terrifying to the extreme. Kid, let go of my people and break your own arms. I will spare your life. Humph. Hearing this, Lin Xian didn't say anything. Instead, he exerted force with his foot and the armored man under his feet was torn apart. He let out a miserable roar. Seeing this scene, Jingyun was instantly enraged. You're courting death. I will let you know how powerful our buried Emperor Star is. Saying this, he walked out. The others sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Jingyun was going to personally make a move? This was too inconceivable. Jingyun was an extremely terrifying existence even among the buried Emperor Star's people. His strength far surpassed the previous two people. If he made a move, the other party wouldn't be able to block him. Ling Huchuishue and the others became nervous again. They could naturally feel that this person's aura was even stronger than the previous two people. Clearly, this person was an extremely terrifying expert. I'll let you experience my sky cloud palm. Jingyun stretched out his palms and slapped forward. His palms were mysterious and unfathomable. They suddenly became larger and seemed to transform into a part of the sky as they pressed down from the sky. Lin Xian punched out. The terrifying power of his divine body shattered the void. However, he discovered that he didn't shatter the palm. This made him surprised. Jingyun was indeed strong. It seemed that this person was a leader-level figure. He far surpassed the previous two people. Lin Xian also slapped out with his palm. Divine flames overflowed and blocked the clouds that filled the sky. The two people's powers were in a deadlock in the sky. The surrounding void spread out in all directions. Seeing this scene, the true spirit world's cultivators cried out in alarm. This was a divine body. Too powerful. As expected of the Central Emperor. This was a peak expert from our true spirit world. Humph, this was great. Defeat him and suppress him. Sweep everything away. Let them know that our true spirit world also had experts. At this moment, countless people cheered for Lin Xian. On the other side, Sacred King Silver Corpse, Sacred King Divine Ghost, and the others had cold expressions. However, they didn't say anything. Because Lin Xian's strength was indeed very strong. Until now, he hadn't been defeated. Even if he faced Jingyun, they were evenly matched. Who would dare to mock such a person now? After blocking his opponent's attack, Lin Xian sneered. You're only SOSO. You were so arrogant before, so I thought you were very powerful. You are indeed more powerful than the previous two, but you are not that much stronger. Damn brat, don't be so arrogant. Jingyun gritted his teeth. He was about to go crazy from anger. He did not expect that the other party could actually block his sky cloud palm. But so what? His heaven cloud palm was mysterious and unfathomable, and this was just the beginning. The first transformation of the 6 transformations of the heavenly clouds. With a furious roar, the palm suddenly erupted with an incomparable aura, causing everyone's hair to stand on end. It was too scary. Everyone was shocked. Sure enough, the divine fire in the sky was wrapped by the clouds and became incomparably hazy. However, the palm seemed to have passed through everything and charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a clench of his fist, he transformed into a golden crow and rushed over, enveloping the countless rays of light. In the next moment, the two collided, and it was as if the world had split open. The surrounding sacred kings attacked, sending this power into the sky. Otherwise, the mountains and rivers of the eastern wilderness would have been shattered by this attack. Second transformation. Third transformation. Seeing this scene, Jingyun did not say anything and directly attacked again. He was really crazy, so he used his power recklessly. He seemed to have transformed into a supreme god that could sweep through everything. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stood there proudly and formed a hand seal again, forming the man-ruler seal. At this moment, a powerful aura emanated from his body, shocking everyone. They even wanted to kneel down and worship Lin Xian. What kind of boldness was this? On the other hand, Lin Xian slapped out with his palm. The powerful man-ruler seal collapsed the sky and split the earth. Even the supreme existence in the 9 heavens and 10 earths would not be able to escape from this attack. Boom! Sure enough, the other party's divine ability was broken again, and the man-ruler seal continued to attack. Damn it! 4th transformation. 5th transformation. Jing Yun's pupils constricted. He did not expect that the other party could break his divine ability. He roared angrily. At this moment, countless palms appeared in the sky. Each of them carried an extremely powerful force that enveloped down. Finally, the man-ruler seal was blocked. As the man-ruler seal slowly disappeared, those palms mercilessly rushed towards Luo Yunyang. Jing Yun finally revealed a cold smile. Kid, die. The people of the buried Emperor Star also heaved a sigh of relief. They knew it. How could he be a match for Jing Yun? It seemed that he had used up all his strength. However, as soon as they said that, their expressions became incomparably ugly. Because they discovered that the man-ruler seal, under the control of Lin Xian, once again burst out with an incomparable light. This attack pierced through everything. However, in the end, it also dissipated between heaven and earth. The surrounding people were stunned. It was too powerful. A fierce battle between dragons and tigers, absolutely incomparably powerful. Is there anything else? If you don't have any divine ability, you will definitely lose, Lin Xian coldly said. On the opposite side, Jing Yun's expression was grave. Kid, next, I will use the 6th transformation. You should be proud to be able to die under this kind of divine ability. It was obvious that the 6th transformation was an extremely powerful mystic art. Between heaven and earth, endless rays of light bloomed. The multicolored light enveloped everything, and all of it gathered on Jing Yun's palm. In his palm, there was a dense fog that spread out. With a light shake, the void shattered, mountains and rivers split, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. This attack was too powerful. Ling Huchuixue and the others were worried for Lin Xian. Even Peerless Saint King and the others frowned. Was this the strength of the people from the buried Emperor Star? They were indeed incomparably terrifying. This kind of divine ability was enough to sweep through everything. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Facing this palm, he did not use the man-ruler seal, but used another divine ability. Mountain Embracing Seal. Between heaven and earth, a divine mountain appeared, as if it had transcended ancient times. As soon as it appeared, the surrounding mountains began to shatter, and cracks began to appear. It was simply unable to withstand this power. The faces of the Saint Kings also changed. This is? They opened their eyes wide. The 5 elements Saint King and Saint King of all beginnings also cried out in alarm. Could this be the legendary divine ability, Mountain Embracing Seal? How could this guy use it? Once the Mountain Embracing Seal appeared, it descended from the sky, shattering thousands of void, and then collided with the 6th transformation of the Sky Cloud Hand. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The earth shattered, the mountains collapsed, and the clouds that filled the sky dissipated. Jing Yun was directly sent flying, and he violently vomited blood. Chapter 4401. No! When the people of the buried Emperor Star saw this scene, they roared crazily. They had already used the 6th transformation of the Sky Cloud Hand. Could it be that they still couldn't defeat their opponent? At this moment, they felt a sense of despair. All along, they had thought that they were peerless geniuses that could trample anyone under their feet. But now, they realized that they were wrong. It turned out that other worlds could also give birth to terrifying experts. In fact, killing them was no different from cutting vegetables. Lin Xian slowly retracted his palm and said indifferently, "To be defeated by the Mountain Embracing Seal, you should be proud." Boom! In the distance, Jing Yun descended from the sky, forming a large crack. He stood up, his body was covered with wounds. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment, his eyes were red. He lost. He was actually defeated. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you! After speaking, a ray of light flew out from between his eyebrows. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The sacred mountain in the sky descended to block the attack. However, the sacred mountain was instantly sent flying. Lin Xian was also sent flying back, smashing into two mountains. He felt that his arm was about to split open. When countless people saw this scene, they cried out in alarm. What was that? Jingyun looked up to the sky and laughed. Ha ha, brat, you're dead. You want to compete with me? In your next life. An arrogant voice resounded between heaven and earth. The faces of the people of Peerless City and True Spirit World became incomparably ugly. Could it be that Lin Xian, who had just won, was killed by someone? Damn it! You sneak attacked me! Jingyun sneered. Who said that the battle was over? It was his own carelessness. Whoever is not convinced, come and die. He was incomparably powerful. Those below the Sage King realm did not dare to resist him. Great, this guy is finally dead. The people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion laughed. The people of the buried Emperor Star also heaved a sigh of relief. However, a figure walked out from the shattered mountain in the distance. He threw countless huge rocks into the sky. Then, he walked on the ground. Sneak attack me? You're already at the end of your road. Don't you have any other methods? But do you think that you can kill me like this? Lin Xian's voice was ice cold. He was also angry. If the Divine Mountain hadn't blocked that attack for him, he would have been dead already. This attack could penetrate his body. Clearly, that was his opponent's trump card. Not dead? The people from the buried Emperor Star were all stunned. Even Jingyan's pupils shrank. How could this be? Could it be because of the illusion of the sacred mountain? I didn't think that your luck would be so good to be able to survive. However, you'll definitely die now. The white light flew out from between his eyebrows again. It was only then that the crowd discovered that it was a palm carved out of white jade. It was incomparably mysterious and possessed an extremely powerful force. Moreover, there was a speck of blood-colored light inside. Clearly, that was a drop of blood left behind by an expert for Jingyun to protect his life. Let's see how you're going to dodge this time. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and his jade-white palm rapidly shot forth. There was a monstrous law on it, and the aura of a powerhouse filled the air. Damn it, this isn't your power! Fu Hongye, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others roared. However, it was useless. The light from the palm was too powerful, and it instantly shot towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's expression became incomparably cold. This was his opponent's super powerful trump card, and he had to use his trump card to contend against it. In the next moment, he directly took out the Great Destruction Spear and attacked. Boundless demonic chi surged, as if a peerless demon god had appeared. Everyone's expression changed. Sacred King Divine Ghost had instantly said that he was going to use a Sacred King's weapon. There was no need to fight this battle anymore. However, Peerless Sacred King blocked his opponent. Did you think that the jade-white palm was the opponent's true strength? It contained the law and power of a powerhouse. If others can use their trump cards, why can't we? Sacred King Divine Ghost was speechless after hearing this. At this moment, the two attacks collided, and a shocking light burst out. The jade-white palm was trembling from the impact. Lin Xian roared, and the great dragon sword soul in his body erupted. The Great Destruction Spear in his hand became even more terrifying. At this moment, his demonic chi was monstrous, as if he had turned into a demon god. One attack after another. In an instant, thousands of attacks were launched, and it directly collapsed. In the void. Then, cracks appeared on the jade-white palm, and it shattered with a loud bang. Boundless demonic chi swallowed everything. How was this possible? Jingyun was completely dumbfounded. Had his strongest trump card, his life-saving method, been destroyed? Damn it, that was a Sacred King's weapon! He gritted his teeth and wanted to say something, but Lin Xian had already arrived in front of him. Since his opponent had no trump card, he did not need to use the Great Destruction Spear. Therefore, he directly slapped out. With a bang, the slap landed on his opponent's face and sent him flying. His opponent's face was directly shattered. The words he wanted to say were also forcefully extinguished. Then, Lin Xian made a strong move. No one dared to compete with him in close combat. Sure enough, no matter how strong Jingyun was, in close combat, he was beaten miserably, and his body was soon shattered. A bloody mist filled the sky, and he wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian formed a Tai Chi diagram, and with one attack, endless yin and yang power appeared. Especially the law of death, it crazily absorbed the opponent's vitality. Jingyun was so frightened that his face turned pale. No! Damn it! Stop it! You dared to attack me, you're dead! Lin Xian coldly snorted, and with a slap, he sent Jingyun flying. He said coldly, "Now you know fear? Then, when you challenged me just now, did you think that this would be the result? Do you think that if you weren't from the buried Emperor Star, you would be able to live until now? Your soul would have been destroyed long ago. But so what if you're from the buried Emperor Star? Come over and admit your mistake, otherwise, I won't let you off today." What? Jingyun was furious, and his face became incomparably sinister. You want me to admit my mistake? You want me to lower my head? Damn it, you want me to lose face? If I admit my mistake, I reckon that I won't be able to raise my head again. If this matter spread back, I will lose all my face. However, a trace of cold killing intent appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. If it wasn't for his senior brother Limitless Saint King and the other's voice transmission, telling him to hold back and not become enemies with the buried Emperor Star, he would have already destroyed Jingyun's star soul. Humph! Seeing Jingyun hesitating, he directly split Jingyun's body in half. What, you don't want to? Then I don't mind using some methods. Even if I don't kill you, I can keep you by my side and use some secret techniques on you every day. I think you can last for a few days. Hearing these words, Jingyun's eyes filled with fear. This is even more unbearable than killing him. He can only say that he was wrong this time. He will apologize to you and spare his life. When these words came out, the surrounding people were all stunned. The people from the buried Emperor Star were also stunned. Even someone as strong as Jingyun is begging for mercy? Who allowed you to stand? Kneel down and say it. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the Tai Chi diagram slashed towards Jingyun's legs. Chapter 4402. Boom! Jingyun directly knelt down. Speak! Jingyun gritted his teeth so hard that they shattered. He fainted from anger. This was 10,000 times worse than killing him. Fainted? Lin Xian sneered. Jingyun was so arrogant before, and now he wanted to escape. He circulated the cold law of death and enveloped Jingyun. Jingyun immediately woke up and was terrified. I don't have much patience. You only have one chance, Lin Xian said coldly. Jingyun was in despair. He wanted Lin Xian to kill him, but Lin Xian didn't. Lin Xian was tormenting him. I apologize. I shouldn't have attacked you. Please spare my life. Get lost. Don't let me see you again. Lin Xian waved his hand and said coldly. Jingyun retreated. He gritted his teeth and said, Let's go. With that, he left with his people. On the other side, Han Chang's eyes flickered. He also left with his people. Everyone knew that this matter wouldn't end like this. After all, these people came from the buried Emperor Star. They had lost face here and would definitely fight back. Lin Xian didn't care because he would soon head to the buried Emperor Star. When he arrived there, he would definitely stir up a storm. At that time, these people would only become his stepping stones. Then, he looked ahead and sneered. All right, no one cared about what happened here anymore. 10,000 Swords Pavilion, we can continue. The 10,000 Swords Pavilion's people were pale. They felt despair. Sacred King Divine Ghost's face was also ferocious. This scene was completely out of their expectations. Could it be that another battle was going to break out? However, Saint King Yenling frowned, because the other side had as many Saint Kings as they did. Once they started fighting, they would lose. Although they were strong, the deity Dao Union's people might be here. At that time, no one would know what the result would be. Sacred King Divine Ghost gritted his teeth. Are you really not going to give us any face? Sacred King Peerless snorted coldly. When you attacked Peerless City, did you think of giving us some face? Since you didn't, then prepare to bear the consequences. Sacred King Soaring Sky from Demon City also gritted his teeth. Sacred King Peerless, are you sure you want to do this? Sacred King Peerless looked at him. Thousand Demon City, I still remember you. You've always been at odds with my Peerless City. Don't make me attack you. Hearing this, the Soaring Sky Saint King's pupils constricted. He gritted his teeth with a ferocious expression. However, he didn't dare to say anything. They all looked at Spirit Saint King Yen. Sage King Yenling's eyes flickered. He had been scouting the surroundings. He wanted to know if the deity Dao Union's people had come. But he never noticed. However, he did not dare to be careless. The deity Dao Union was mysterious and unfathomable. Who knew when it would appear? Alright, let's begin. It's a fair fight. My junior brother won't make a move, but my disciples will. No way, the Saint Kings were going to attack. And there were so many of them. Peerless, today is the day you die. Divine Ghost Saint King roared and rushed over with the firmament sword. The firmament sword emitted endless killing intent, overturning heaven and earth. The surrounding people were all sent flying, vomiting blood. Run away quickly! They couldn't fight a battle between Saint Kings. Peerless Saint King snorted coldly. At the same time, the surrounding people all retreated. The Saint Kings instantly attacked. Attack! Silver Corpse Saint King roared. But at this time, the void split open, and a light scattered, directly striking Spirit Saint King. Spirit Saint King was about to attack, but he was sneak attacked from behind, and was sent flying. Even Silver Corpse Saint King was shocked, and hurriedly sent out the Yellow Springs diagram to defend. At the same time, he looked around and roared crazily. Who dares to sneak attack us? Spirit Saint King Yen coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. His body had been shattered by this attack, and he was severely injured. Blood flowed, dyeing the sky red. He roared at the sky, his expression ferocious, and his terrifying gaze pierced through the space behind him. In the void behind him, a hazy figure appeared. The aura emitted from his body was very mysterious. And above his head, there was a pagoda floating up and down. The pagoda was releasing a terrifying power, and the aura on it was enough to shatter heaven and earth. The desolate tower's phantom? Spirit Saint King felt his hair stand on end. He felt a fatal aura. Chapter 4403. Had the Jade Lake Sacred Ground made a move? However, it was only an illusion. It didn't really walk out. And after one attack, it disappeared into the void. The surrounding Saint Kings were also horrified. Desolation was an extreme weapon, an existence that could suppress everything. If it really exploded, they wouldn't be able to resist at all. But fortunately, the other party only attacked once and didn't attack again. One attack was enough. Saint King Kunlun walked out with a cold smile. The previous attack had already seriously injured Saint King's spirit word. Saint King Vastsi and Saint King Bianyue also walked out. They all stared at Saint King's spirit word. Saint King's spirit word's expression was extremely ugly. He was first seriously injured, and now he was targeted by 3 Saint Kings. Even if he was very strong before, he was probably very dangerous now. He gritted his teeth and roared. You people dare to plot against me? You really don't know what's good for you. Saint King Vastsi snorted coldly. Plot against you? What a joke. When we were at the immemorial grotto sacred assembly, we were all cursed. Then we were also poisoned by the supreme saint corpse poison. Didn't you plot against us at that time? What right do you have to talk about us? Saint King Bienue also snorted coldly. What do you want to say? Didn't you say that it was you who did it? If you really have nothing to do with the human world, then retreat now. We only target the ghost gods saint kings who are related to the human world. If you don't retreat, then you're in cahoots. What nonsense! You want to target the immemorial grotto? The immemorial grotto has never been afraid of anyone. At this time, Saint King's spirit word didn't admit that he had anything to do with the human world. After all, the human world was very terrifying. They would attack the various sacred grounds once every tens of thousands of years, causing a sea of blood to surge into the sky. Countless people were terrified. Every time, the various sacred grounds would join forces to attack and quell such an existence. He wouldn't take the initiative to admit it. But at this time, a voice sounded between heaven and earth. Is that so? Then your grandson is alive again. How do you explain that? Saint King's spirit word's pupils constricted when he heard this. He suddenly looked up. In the next moment, he saw a young person fall from the sky. It was his grandson. Sure Yunhu. When the Kunlun Sage King and the others saw this, their faces darkened. This was because they had seen with their own eyes that this young man had been killed by the people of the mortal world. However, at that moment, he had come back to life. This was the same situation as Sacred King Desolate Heaven. Old thing, are you still saying that you have nothing to do with the human world? Then why is your grandson alive? Unparalleled Divine King coldly snorted. Damn it, who was it that actually discovered the secret? Didn't he ask her grandson to hide properly? He looked up. In the next moment, his expression turned extremely cold. This was because he discovered that the person who had attacked was actually Scholar Immortal. Damn it, the divine Tao Gates people really came. In the sky, the deity Tao Union's undying scholar said coldly, Immemorial Grotto, you are indeed in cahoots with the mortal world. Since that's the case, I'll eliminate all of you today. It seemed like this time, divine Tao Gate was truly angered, wishing to get rid of world of man, as well as those related to time of man. The surrounding people of the quintessential world also exclaimed in surprise. Immemorial Grotto was actually in cahoots with world of man. This was really too unbelievable. Not only did world of man make a move on the second astral realm, but it was also extremely terrifying in the quintessential world. It was the legendary Sacred Killing Hall. Now, such a person had appeared again. This was really shocking to the great world of man. Furthermore, what shocked them even more was that the sacred cities of the second astral realm were going to be completely eliminated. World of man, damn it, Sacred King's spirit Yan's expression turned cold. Since he had been discovered, he no longer hid it. He said coldly, That's right, I am indeed in cahoots with world of man. So what? However, you guessed wrong. Not only am I in cahoots with world of man, but I am also a member of world of man. When these words came out, even Sacred King Peerless and the others were stunned. The other party was a member of world of man. Damn it, it seemed like everything that had happened before had been planned by the other party. Originally, I wanted to let you live a little longer, but since you want to court death, I'll fulfill your wish. Sacred King's spirit, Yen shouted coldly. Then, he said, Get ready to attack. Leave no one alive. After he finished speaking, the surrounding sky started to shatter. Sacred King's silver corpse, Sacred King Divine Ghost, and Sacred King Flying Sky also walked out. Extremely cold auras emanated from their bodies. At the same time, there were many masked black-robed men around them. Their powers were equally terrifying. These were all Sacred Kings. Acheron Hall, Great Desolation Mansion, Myriad Sword Pavilion. You are all involved. Even the Myriad Demon City is involved. Very well. Scholar Immortal also emanated a terrifying aura. Not only you, but the sacred cities that you are in also need not exist." Hearing this, the sacred king's pupils shrank. Although they already knew that this would be the outcome, they still felt their scalps go numb upon hearing those words. It seemed like they could only join forces with world of man. Otherwise, they would have no way of surviving. The people of Thunder God's city also felt their scalps tingle. They did not expect that their previous friends were actually from world of man. This scared them out of their wits. They hurriedly said, "This has nothing to do with us. We don't know." Scholar Immortal glanced at these people and said, "Thunder God's city indeed has nothing to do with this. However, you all helped the evildoers. Now that the sacred kings have been killed, you all deserve it. So, quickly leave this place." The people of Thunder God's city turned pale and quickly retreated. Actually, it was not only them. Everyone in the surroundings was retreating. This was because more and more sacred kings had appeared. Countless terrifying auras had gathered. Those below the sacred king realm could not withstand it. Lin Xian, Ling Huchuixue, and the others also quickly retreated. A vortex appeared on their bodies as they quickly flew into the distance. The geniuses of the other sacred cities did the same. Guan Tsenghai of Azure Ocean Palace, Jin Xianer of Acacia Palace, Kunlun Pavilion, and Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion did the same. They all quickly retreated. This was because they had already discussed this beforehand. Peerless Sacred King and the other sacred kings would join forces with the deity Dao Union and start a decisive battle with World of Man. Then, these young disciples would pass through the seal and head to the buried Emperor Star. This way, even if the deity Dao Union and the others failed, World of Man would not be able to threaten them. Soon, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and the others gathered. Even the Crimson Dragon, the Toad, and the Northern Devil had all come. Although these people had not been to the primordial battlefield before, they had all been there. However, Lin Xian had more than one sacred king's will in his hands. Naturally, he could give it to these people and allow them to pass through. Chapter 4404. Lin Xian sighed in his heart. Were they finally going to reach the buried Emperor Star? That was the place where countless great emperors were buried. There were countless secrets, and even secrets to becoming an immortal. It was also the end of the ancient starry sky path. Lin Xian wondered what kind of world it was. His eyes were filled with boundless hope and curiosity. Their goal this time was to go to the Reincarnation Valley. They had to find the Reincarnation Protector first. This should be the place, right? Guan Tsenghai looked around and then looked at the valley. Let's go. These young geniuses quickly descended. Their greetings became incomparably respectful. After all, the Reincarnation Protector was someone that even their sage kings had to treat with respect. Junior requests an audience, Reincarnation Protector. Guan Tsenghai said in a clear voice. His voice could be heard clearly. Everyone waited patiently, but there was no response. Guan Tsenghai called out respectfully once again. At this moment, a voice rang out between heaven and earth. You don't have the qualifications to see me. Get your sage kings to come. Also, those below sage kings don't come here. This time, I will let you live. If you dare to come here again, your souls will be destroyed. Scram! A terrifying voice rushed over, and then it surged towards them from all directions. Everyone felt their pupils constrict. It was as if their bodies were about to be crushed by 100,000 mountains. Even Lin Xian's face had turned incomparably pale. Too strong. This Reincarnation Protector was probably even more terrifying than Sage King Yanling. Was he a Sage King? Or had he already surpassed the Sage King realm? However, why did they attack him? He roared. This power made it very difficult for him to open the Great Sage Tower. These people were in despair. Were they going to die? It had not been easy for them to reach this point. However, they were unable to resist this voice at all. These people's eyes were filled with despair. At this moment, a light flashed. Boundless black aura condensed and enveloped them. Then, they completely disappeared. In the blink of an eye, everyone discovered that they had already left the Reincarnation Valley and were outside. They did not know how many million miles they were away. Were they saved? These people all heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian was also surprised. Originally, he wanted to use the Great Sage Tower to bring everyone in. But before he could do anything, someone had attacked them. Who was it? To be able to bring them away so easily, it was definitely a Sage King. The other people also turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they saw a black-robed person standing behind them. "Thank you, Senior," they said gratefully. The dark red dragon also had a look of lingering fear on its face. The toad said, "Damn it. That guy is too arrogant. He obviously wants to kill us." However, after He Shan heard this, he sneered. "Eccentric?" Black Mountain said that he had been invited to the primordial grotto. His relationship with Sage King Yanling was not ordinary. If Sage King Yanling was from the mortal world, then what about him? When these words came out, everyone's scalps went numb. Lin Xian also said, "Is he also from the mortal world?" Black Mountain shook his head. Obviously, he knew more. He said, "He's not. I'm guessing that he's from the buried Emperor Star." "Is he from the buried Emperor Star?" Lin Xian was surprised. No wonder. This explained why the other party was so powerful, and why these Sage Kings were so respectful when they saw him. Also, during the Primordial Grotto's banquet, Han Chong and the others stayed by his side. Because these people originally came from the buried Emperor Star. Black Mountain said that although he came from the buried Emperor Star, he was responsible for guarding the Reincarnation Valley. He had stayed here for thousands of years. Therefore, his relationship with Sage King Yanling was definitely not ordinary. Even if he wasn't from the mortal world, perhaps this time, he would still stand on the side of the mortal world. Hearing this, the expressions of Lin Xian and the others became unsightly. If that was really the case, then they would be in danger. If that was the case, wouldn't they be unable to enter the buried Emperor Star? Black Mountain said that there was still a chance. As long as they could win this battle, it would be fine. You guys stay here for now. I'll go take a look at the situation. If necessary, I'll also take action. Black Mountain's eyes flashed with a cold light. Lin Xian said, "Take us with you. We want to watch the battle from afar." "All right, I can only take you a short distance. However, you guys can watch the battle through the formation. With so many Sage Kings fighting, kid, even if you have a trump card, it will be very difficult to resist." Next, Black Mountain brought these people to the eastern wasteland. Then, he soared into the sky. Because the Sage Kings were fighting, they had already arrived in the starry sky. Black Mountain set up a formation so that Lin Xian and the others could see the situation in the starry sky. At this moment, the situation of the battle was really terrifying. The entire starry sky had been completely destroyed. Countless large cracks spread out, and the surrounding stars were shattered. Some were directly turned into dust. This was simply too shocking. One had to know that they were all top geniuses. They could sweep through everything in the sacred venerables. However, compared to the Sage Kings, they were still too weak. The methods of these Sage Kings terrified them. Peerless Sage King fought Sage King God Ghost. Both of them used sword techniques. It was very terrifying. The peerless sword swept across the sky, majestic, and the firmament sword was even sharper. When it stood up, it was very terrifying. However, peerless Sage Kings seemed to be stronger, and the law of devouring was even more terrifying. In the end, he devoured the firmament sword. Then, he slashed at Sage King God Ghost. Sage King God Ghost was instantly split in half. He was severely injured. "Ah!" He roared to the sky and broke through the void, wanting to escape. Peerless Sage King snorted coldly. "You want to escape?" He also shattered the spatial passage with a sword and stopped the other party. Then, he charged forward again. Peerless Sage King was Lord Alcohol's disciple, and he had also received the law of devouring. His strength was very terrifying. Therefore, no matter how strong Sage King God Ghost was, he was still defeated in the end and was severely injured. Seeing that he couldn't escape, he roared angrily. Wushwang, do you think you can win against me? Even if I die, I will drag you to hell. The 10,000 ancestral swords on his body were even more terrifying. Sword Chi soared into the sky, and the illusion of the world surrounded him. This aura shocked everyone. The Sage Kings in the starry sky were all terrified. They knew that Sage King God Ghost was going to go all out. Below, the creatures on the eastern wasteland were trembling and kneeling on the ground. This aura was like a god fighting a group of people. Chapter 4405. Do you want to risk your life? Wushwang Holy King roared in anger. His eyes were shining brightly. Then, the law of devour on his body kept flashing, forming a black rune that merged with Peerless' sword. He slashed out with his sword. Everything was over. This sword strike shocked everyone. No one could block the terrifying power. After the sword, Divine Ghost Sage King completely disappeared, turning into a bloody mist. Everyone was stunned. A Sage King had fallen just like that. Lin Xian and the others felt their blood boil as they clenched their fists. As for the Sage Kings who were fighting in the extraterritorial battle, their hearts were heavy. Deity Dao Union's side was naturally happy, but the mortal world's side was cold. Divine Ghost Sage King was an extremely terrifying Sage King. Now, he had fallen to such a state. Peerless Sage King stood there, looking disdainfully. He said coldly, Divine Ghost Sage King has fallen. We will find the 10,000 Swords Pavilion and destroy it completely. From now on, the 10,000 Swords Pavilion will be removed from the myriad worlds. An ice-cold voice resounded through the air. On the other side, Kunlun Sage King also killed a mortal world Sage Killer. The bloody mist filled the sky once again. Another Sage King had fallen. Black Mountain also walked out. He stared at Soaring Sage King and said coldly, Since you are also a heavenly beast, I will give you a quick death. Surrender! Damn it, you think you can defeat me? Soaring Sage King roared. He was a Sage King. How could he be defeated without a fight? Therefore, he roared and turned into his true form. He held two swords in his hands and quickly charged over. The boundless saber light flickered in the starry heavens, and the surrounding stars dimmed. Heaven and earth were shattered. It was as if the starry sky was being destroyed. At this moment, the experts below raised their heads again. Their faces were filled with fear. Countless demonic beasts roared into the sky. Too powerful. However, Black Mountain sneered. You weren't even born when I dominated the world. You dare to fight me? You overestimate yourself. He flipped his palm and formed a black seal. He slammed it down. With a boom, the sword light in the sky was shattered. That black seal was like a millstone. It was pitch black. What weapon was that? However, it was extremely terrifying. As soon as it appeared, it swept through everything. Soaring Sky Saint King was sent flying as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. His face was filled with terror. Was the disparity between them so great? Damn it! Take my flying deity slash! Tens of thousands of blade lights appeared between heaven and earth. Each of them was burning like a peerless immortal light as they charged towards Black Mountain. On the other hand, He Shan was forming seals with his palms. Countless black rays of light appeared on his body, as if they had turned into tree branches, waving in all directions. These tree branches were incomparably black, like black arrows that directly pierced through everything. The saber light that filled the sky shattered once again. As for the Soaring Sky Saint King, he was pierced through and thousands of cracks appeared on his body. His face was filled with terror. Demonic beast, you are also a demonic beast. At this moment, he could sense an extremely terrifying demonic beast aura from those black branches. It was even stronger than his own. It was as if a primordial beast was in a deep slumber. Spare my life. We are all varied beasts of heaven and earth, please spare me this once. The soaring sky Saint King was already begging for mercy. I gave you a chance before, but you didn't cherish it. However, I can still give you another chance. It's impossible for you to live. However, I can accept your 1,000-demon city. I will kill all those above the sage realm. As for those below the sage realm, I can spare their lives and nurture them again. The soaring sky Saint King was in despair. If he died, what would he do with the holy city? Therefore, he roared towards the sky. He quickly charged over. The bloodline power and laws in his body were burning. It was obvious that he was going to go all out. However, Black Mountain sneered. The black seal bloomed with light, directly freezing the sky. The soaring sky Saint King was also frozen there, unable to move at all. He let out an unwilling roar, but in an instant, tens of thousands of black branches pierced through his body, turning him into a bloody mist. Another sage king had fallen. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. These sage kings were all supreme existences. Usually, they were like gods that they could only look up to. However, at this moment, they were like ants that kept falling. It was as if the end of the world was coming. Countless sage kings looked at Black Mountain and nodded slightly. However, in the next moment, he was stunned and looked down. His gaze pierced through everything, then he frowned. Junior Brother Lin, why are they here? Didn't they go to the Reincarnation Valley? Logically speaking, they should have gone to the buried Emperor Star by now. However, Black Mountain said that there was a situation there. The Reincarnation Protectors did not meet. It seemed that they did not intend to release the seal. Damn it! The peerless Sage King's expression instantly changed. The Sage Kings beside him also had cold expressions. This guy actually dared to not follow the rules. He actually dared to do so. The everlasting Sage King also snorted coldly. On the other side, the people of the mortal world sneered. All of you must die. Kill them! These Saint Kings also roared furiously and charged over quickly. Among them, the Sage King Yanling roared. He was fighting 3 Sage Kings alone. Although he was suppressed, he was getting more and more courageous. On the other side, the Sage King Silver Corpse was also incomparably terrifying. There was even a mysterious black-clothed Sage King who waved the black flag in his hand. Countless souls within it roared crazily and released terrifying soul attacks. Among them, there was also the Sage King Lei's power. In an instant, the battle broke out once again. Even the peerless Sage King felt the pressure. Every Sage King was in danger of dying at any time. Fortunately, it was not only the second astral realm this time. Many sage cities of the true spirit world also participated in the battle. Therefore, they were able to withstand the attacks. Otherwise, just the great sage corpse poison alone would have been able to sweep through everything. This time, the great sage corpse poison was blocked by the Yaoqi Lake sage water, resolving the crisis. At this moment, the old Sage King of the Great Desolation Mansion was disheveled. He had once again reached his peak state. He had turned into a valiant middle-aged man. At this moment, his eyes were not focused. Suddenly, he saw Lin Xian and the others below. They were actually still here. That was great. If he could capture these youths, they would be able to threaten these Sage Kings. Thinking of this, he quickly charged down. He turned into a stream of light, and instantly tore through the void and arrived below. A terrifying aura swept through everything. The ground below was constantly crumbling. Guan Senghai, Li Hongxiu and the others instantly felt their bodies stiffen. They could no longer move. Even Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Damn it, I was discovered by the Sage King. Moreover, it was the old Sage King of the Great Desolation Mansion. He roared crazily in the air. It was obvious that this attack had caused him to be heavily injured. Damn it, what was this thing? The other saint in black had a cold expression. It was the legendary saint technique, the Great Dragon's Sword. It seemed that he was the successor of the Great Dragon's Sword. Damn it, let's go. I won't be able to kill them this time. With that, the black flag swept in all directions, wanting to leave. However, Saint King Yen was not willing to give up. I don't believe it. He waved his hand and took out an ancient stone. Primordial stone! The people in the human world exclaimed. Are you crazy? However, Saint King Yen had really gone crazy. Little brat, go to hell. That primordial stone gave off an endless radiance as it flew forward. The light on it appeared, and the primordial stone cracked. At this moment, the sky fell and the earth cracked, destroying everything. Not good. The other Saint Kings felt this scene, and their pupils constricted. That was the primordial stone, and its power was equivalent to a Saint King's weapon. Now that it cracked, it was equivalent to a Saint King's weapon being destroyed. The surrounding people were stunned. A Saint King's weapon was destroyed, and its power was too terrifying. It was enough to destroy several worlds. If a Saint King was hit, it would be difficult for him to escape. Therefore, they all quickly retreated. The primordial stone charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. At this moment, the Great Dragon Sword's spirit's power was not much. The other Saint King's power had not been transmitted over, and Lin Xian could not resist at all. Chapter 4407. However, he did not dodge. Instead, he activated the World Core. Lin Xian also had 2 worlds in his hands. That was the dual rain planet. At this moment, the benefits of having 2 worlds were displayed. Lin Xian could directly mobilize the power of 2 worlds across the boundless starry sky. At this moment, the 2 worlds dimmed. The power of the 2 worlds surged into his body and was injected into the Great Dragon Sword Soul. The Great Dragon Sword Soul roared again as if it had been revived. With the power of 2 worlds, it slashed forward. Boom! The shocking battle blocked that destructive aura. That's great. Peerless Sage King and the rest heaved a sigh of relief. Then, they gathered the power of these Sage Kings and attacked. The Great Dragon Sword Soul became stronger again and slashed down. Boom! Sage King Spiritual King Yan was split into 2. Half of his body turned into a bloody mist, while the other half flew into the black flag. It tore open the void and quickly left. Lin Xian swung his sword again. However, the people of the mortal world had mastered an extremely powerful movement technique and disappeared from the world. Lin Xian did not make a move. This was because using the Great Dragon Sword of this level had a huge impact on his physique. At this moment, his divine body was covered in cracks. Fresh blood flowed out from within. The golden blood was abnormally terrifying. It was probably because he had a divine body. Otherwise, the other sage sovereigns would probably not be able to use this sword. Big Brother Xian. Murong Qingqing flew over. She took out the Jade Lake holy water and enveloped Lin Xian. She started to provide Lin Xian with great power. This caused the cracks to quickly heal. The surrounding sea of blood was too terrifying. This time, at least a dozen Sage Kings had fallen. There were those from the deity Dao Union and even more from the mortal world. It could be said that this time, the mortal world suffered a heavy blow. Sage King Silver Corpse, Sage King Divine Ghost, Sage King Flying Sage King, and the old Sage King of the Great Desolate Mansion had all fallen. Other than that, many of the masked Sage Kings had also fallen. After this battle, even if the mortal world still existed, their strength would be greatly reduced. As for the holy cities where these Saint Kings were, they would also take action. After finding them, they would remove their names from the myriad realms. Shaochun left this matter to the deity Dao Union. Even if the holy cities were sealed, they would be able to find them. Lin Xian and the others knew that these people were finished. The people of True Spirit World raised their heads to look at the sky. Their faces were filled with fear. At this moment, the sky had already turned red. It released a terrifying aura. That aura wanted to tear their bodies apart. This was such a shocking battle. So many saint kings had fallen. This had probably never happened in the past few thousand years. At the same time, the second astral realm was also in a state of shock. This news was brought back by the people of the deity Tao Union and spread in all directions. When they learned that Holy King Silver Corpse, Holy King Skysoar, the old Holy King of Great Desolation Mansion, and Holy King Divine Ghost had died, they were stunned. At first, they didn't believe it. It was impossible. Who could make all these saint kings fall? However, when they learned that it was a fight between dozens of saint kings, and that the Silver Corpse Saint King and the others were from the human world, they were all stunned. The mortal world in the second astral realm was simply a nightmare. Who would have thought that it would actually be by their side? Moreover, it was these saint kings. Could it be that these saint kings had really fallen? Did none of them escape? Next, when they saw the sealed Acheron Palace and 10,000 Swords Pavilion being found and destroyed, they were shocked. They were completely convinced. Because these holy cities would vanish into thin air and cease to exist. Demon City. Their seals had also been removed, and they had been found. The people of the Demon City were filled with despair. They had also received the news that the Holy King had been killed. They felt as if the sky was falling. Seeing the fate of the other holy cities, they were also terrified. On this day, a black-robed man arrived. Qin Wentian stood there like a god. Countless people in the Demon City were terrified. Was the end of the world coming? This figure was He Shan. He said in a clear voice. Now, seeing that you are all demonic beasts, I will give you a chance. Those above Saint Kings can report to hell. Those below Saint Kings. Those who submit to me can live. If you resist, there is no need to exist. What? Those above Saint Kings had all fallen. Damn it. The eyes of those saints, and elders instantly turned red. Run! For a time, countless people fled in all directions. He Shan in the sky sneered. He stretched out a hand, and a black tree appeared behind him. It stood tall and directly covered the world. It completely enveloped the entire holy city. In an instant, those saints were all pierced and turned into a bloody mist, which was absorbed by the black tree. Those below Saint Kings were so scared that they prostrated themselves on the ground. We are willing to submit. They also felt the aura of this black-robed man. It was extremely terrifying. Moreover, he was also a Saint King. It seemed that the other party wanted to regain control of them. All right, from now on, I am the city lord of your demon city. After saying that, a terrifying aura erupted once again, engulfing the world. True spirit world. The primordial grotto was also affected. After all, Saint King Yen Ling had also escaped. Therefore, the primordial grotto was destroyed. However, the primordial grotto was extremely terrifying. There were also some core areas that had an extremely terrifying aura of death. Even the people of the immortal gods Tao Union did not dare to enter casually. Of course, no one walked out of the grotto. In fact, everyone thought that it was a place of death, so they did not pay any attention to it. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others were waiting again. They were waiting for the seal to open. Peerless Saint King, Kunlun Saint King, and the others joined forces and brought Lin Xian and the others there once. However, they found that the reincarnation guardian had already gone into seclusion. They could only leave and wait for the next opportunity. Eastern Wilderness. In a canyon, a figure stood there. His eyes were black and white, which was very strange. It was Yuruo. At this moment, he was facing the canyon in front of him with an extremely serious expression. There was also a terrifying aura in the canyon. Obviously, Yuruo was cultivating here. There were some people around. When they felt the aura from Yuruo's body, their scalps went numb. What a terrifying genius! No one dared to disturb him. At this moment, a few figures flew over from the vicinity. The aura from these people was even more terrifying. It was the buried Emperor Star. Among them, Jingyun was also present. At this moment, he was gnashing his teeth. After all, he had kowtowed and admitted his mistake. This matter had spread and shocked everyone. He had found someone to avenge him. That person was his younger brother. Although his younger brother was young, his talent and strength were stronger than his. Therefore, he said, "Brother, treat me well." "Little brother, how have I treated you? This time, you must avenge me." Beside Jingyun was an even younger person. He said, "Brother, don't worry. No matter who it is, if they dare to bully you, I will make them wish they were dead." Hearing this, Jingyun revealed a sinister smile. His younger brother had already become a half-step king. With his strength, the other party was definitely dead. Chapter 4408. The group of people flew quickly in the sky. Suddenly, Jingyun froze and looked down. "What's wrong, brother?" the young man beside him asked. Jingyun sneered. "I found him. Although I didn't find that kid, I found one of his companions. If I catch her, I'll be able to find out where that kid is. Maybe I can even get him to come out." After saying that, the group descended into the canyon below. The people below were all comprehending in the canyon. Suddenly, they raised their heads and felt an extremely terrifying power coming from the sky. It was as if their bodies were going to explode. "Retreat quickly." They frantically retreated. Those who were slow to retreat were directly sent flying and vomited blood. This was just the descent of the aura. If these people attacked, how terrifying would it be? Yurua suddenly opened her eyes and looked at the sky with her black and white eyes. The next moment, her pupils shrank and she quickly retreated. "You want to leave? It's too late." In the sky, a cold smile appeared. Then, endless wind and clouds changed, forming a cage that sealed the surroundings. Then, a group of people descended. The surrounding people were all horrified as they raised their heads to look. Who was this person? How could he be so terrifying? When they saw Jingyun, they exclaimed in surprise. It was him. This was an expert from the buried Emperor Star. No wonder he was so terrifying. "You should be Lin Xian's companion. Tell me where he is obediently. I can let you suffer less." Jingyun's cold voice sounded. Yuro's face was cold. She didn't expect to meet these people. She sneered. "You're just a loser. What right do you have to be arrogant in front of Marshal Uncle Lin? I advise you to get lost quickly. Otherwise, when Marshal Uncle Lin comes, you'll have to kneel again. You're courting death." Jingyun was instantly enraged. This was his scar. Since the other party wasn't courting death, he wouldn't be polite. Sky Cloud Hand. In an instant, a terrifying aura surged out. A white cloud palm pressed down from the sky. At that moment, it was like the palm of a god. Yurua naturally knew how powerful the other party was, so she didn't dare to be careless. Her black and white eyes released two extremely terrifying rays of light. They turned into giant dragons and flew forward. They pierced through the void. The two giant dragons flew in the sky and then swept their tails, causing heaven and earth to collapse. Wherever it passed, it blocked the clouds that filled the sky. It was useless. Jingyun sneered, fearless. The heavenly cloud hand was about to land, and as expected, the two dragons were continuously shattered. Yurua also felt immense pressure. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Although the other party had lost and even knelt in front of Lin Xian, this did not mean that the other party was weak. The other party was too terrifying. In the true spirit world and the second astral world, the other party could absolutely sweep through everything. However, Lin Xian was too heaven-defying. That was the reason why her opponent had been defeated. However, Yurua was unable to defeat her opponent. While retreating and coughing up blood, Yuro's eyes flashed with a cold light. Then, She launched a powerful eye technique attack. Jingyun snorted coldly, his body swayed, and he almost fell from the sky. In the next moment, he roared madly. You dare to injure my soul? He roared madly. No matter how powerful he was now at a disadvantage in the hands of the other party. In the next moment, he roared. Sky Cloud Hand, first transformation. A terrifying power erupted in an instant. At the same time, the nomological laws on his body condensed to prevent the soul from being bombarded. Yu-Ruo vomited blood. She could not block the Sky Cloud Hand and was about to be defeated. However, at this moment, endless frost condensed between heaven and earth. The speed of the Sky Cloud Hand slowed down, and then a figure rescued Yu-Ruo. Are you all right? Lu Yuan came. The cold aura on his body erupted. Yu-Ruo said, I'm fine, but they're too strong. Let's leave first. Lu Yuan nodded, and the two of them wanted to leave. At this moment, a young man behind them spoke. You want to leave? Stay here. He stomped his foot, and the ground cracked open. A force rushed towards the two of them. Not good, quickly dodge. The two of them quickly retreated, their faces full of fear. Then, he said, let's join forces. The two of them attacked together to block this attack. In the next moment, the two of them were sent flying. How could the other party be so strong? Who was this person? The two of them were too shocked. One had to know that although they could not defeat Jingyun, the two of them could still contend against him if they joined forces. However, they could not defeat this young man. This person's strength had already surpassed that of a holy venerable. Leave quickly, another expert has come to the buried Emperor Star. The two of them turned pale. However, that young man walked out and said coldly, with just the two of you, do you think you can escape from my hands? I'll break your limbs, make you kneel in front of my brother, Kowtow, and admit your mistakes. Then, when that Lin Xian comes, I'll make him suffer a fate worse than death. Jinka walked out, his body emitting a cold aura. Yu Rup and Lu Yuan both despaired. They felt a huge pressure enveloping their bodies. They were unable to move at all. However, at this moment, a bolt of lightning descended from the sky like a divine sword. The terrifying power directly shot towards Jingyun. Jingyun roared and used the Sky Cloud Hand, but he was sent flying. He was terrified. The lightning was about to pierce through him. Brother, quickly save me! He roared crazily. Jinka also suddenly turned his head, and a terrifying attack erupted from his eyes. In the next moment, a large hand stretched out and directly enveloped the lightning. The two collided. It was as if two worlds had collided, shaking heaven and earth. This attack destroyed the lightning and sent Jingyun down. When he turned his head, his expression was completely cold. Because he discovered that Yu-Ruo and Lu Yuan were gone. They had been rescued by someone. He had just finished speaking. With him around, either of them would be able to escape. But now they were gone. This was a slap to his face. He roared, and the power in his body continued to erupt. A terrifying aura swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. His eyes seemed to have turned into a divine lamp, sweeping across the surroundings. In the next moment, he attacked the void in the distance. This attack was too terrifying. The people around the canyon all prostrated on the ground because the void in the sky had turned into chaos. The light of destruction emitted by that light was enough to pierce through a world. Not good. In the void in the distance, Lu Yuan and Yu-Ruo's expressions changed. This attack made them feel as if they were facing a sage king. However, there was also a figure beside them. It was Lin Xian who had saved them. At this moment, Lin Xian also frowned when he felt this power. He directly used the Taiji diagram, which kept spinning and flying out. The terrifying yin and yang aura turned into a sharp sword and collided with the light of destruction. Then, the power in the sky exploded. Lin Xian took the two of them and used the void escape technique to leave in an instant. Not long after they left, Jinka tore through the void and walked over. Behind him, Jingyun and the other people from the buried Emperor Star had also arrived. They looked around and said, There was no one. No one seemed to be injured. Did they escape? How was that possible? These people didn't dare to believe it. Jinka also frowned. Then, the corners of his mouth curled into a sneer. Interesting. I'm becoming more and more interested in this world. Chapter 4409. In a mountain range, the void split open and 3 figures walked out. They were Lin Xian, Yu Ruo, and Lu Yuan. After the 3 of them came out, their eyes flickered. Yu Ruo heaved a sigh of relief that they were saved. Lu Yuan sighed. He had thought that Jing Yun and the others were powerful enough, but he did not expect that there would be people even more powerful than them. The buried Emperor Star was truly unimaginable. No matter, when we go in, we will surpass them one day. Lin Xian's eyes shone with determination. Then, he said, we still don't know how the Reincarnation Valley is doing. Let's wait for Senior Brother Wushuang's news. But before that, I can send you to the sacred land to cultivate. Really? That's great. The 2 of them were overjoyed. The sacred land's inheritance was also very ancient. It was not inferior to their sacred city at all. Moreover, its foundation was even deeper than their sacred cities. Lin Xian said, Lu Yuan, I'll bring you to the Ice Sacred Land. You can cultivate there. As for you, Ruo, follow me to the Yin Yang Sacred Land. Then, Lin Xian made his move. They first went to the Ice Sacred Land. At this moment, Lin Xian and the others' names had already spread throughout the world. These sacred lands were naturally willing to befriend them. In addition, Lin Xian was the hall master of the Divine Palace. Thus, he quickly stayed in the Ice Sacred Land and cultivated there. As for Lin Xian and Yu Ruo, the 2 of them went to the Yin Yang Sacred Land. The Yin Yang Sacred Land was located in the middle ground. Back then, they were sworn enemies with Lin Xian. Lin Xian had killed many geniuses and experts of the Yin Yang Sacred Land. Thus, when he returned, the Yin Yang Sacred Land's people had a very strange expression. They did not know how to face him. However, facing Lin Xian's strength and the difference in status, the Yin Yang Sacred Land's sect master did not dare to say anything. Instead, he directly invited the 2 of them over. Lin Xian did not talk about the past. Instead, he found a place and began to cultivate his Taiji diagram. On the other hand, Yu Ruo was cultivating her black and white eyes. The others were also cultivating and waiting. They were waiting for news from the Reincarnation Valley. However, at that moment, a silhouette appeared in the Reincarnation Valley. He said, I am Spirit Saint King Yen, and I have come to seek an audience with the Reincarnation Protector. You're here. A cold voice came from the valley. Then, a figure appeared. It was the Reincarnation Protector. At this moment, his expression was indeed somewhat cold. He said, Things seem to be developing differently from what you said before. The human world has already lost. What should I do next? Could it be that he would continue to maintain the seal? This was not in line with the rules. Saint King Yen Ling's eyes turned cold when he heard this. Damn it! Unexpectedly, the deity Dao Yunyan's strength was this strong this time. But don't worry, the human realm hasn't been completely defeated yet. Furthermore, I believe that the Samsara protectors also know about our relationship with the buried Emperor Star. Furthermore, not to mention the buried Emperor Star, the primordial grotto is backed by the primordial ancient mine. This time, I brought this with me. As he spoke, he took out a token. This was an extremely ancient token that gave off a great desolate Aeon aura. When the Reincarnation Protector saw this token, his pupils constricted. He wondered, could it be that those existences from the primordial ancient mine have already awakened? One of the old ancestors has already awakened. So, I believe that the Reincarnation Protector should know who to support, right? Of course, we will not mistreat you. After saying that, the Reincarnation Protector flipped his hand and took out a storage ring containing the treasure from the primordial ancient mine. It was an old herb from 50,000 years ago. Presumably, he will be able to help your cultivation reach a higher level. A light flashed in the Reincarnation Protector's eyes. The Reincarnation Protector was very clear about the human realm. It did not only exist in the second astral realm and the true spirit world. In fact, they also existed in the buried Emperor Star. It could be said to be extremely horrifying. Furthermore, this time, a horrifying character from the primordial ancient mind had awakened. No matter how strong the unparalleled Sage King and the others were, they would not be able to block them. Even the deity Tao Union would not be able to. So, the Reincarnation Protector nodded and said, "I understand. I will close the Reincarnation Valley and open it again after 500 years. Many thanks." Sage King Yanling revealed a smile. The Reincarnation Protector turned and left. None of these people could even think about going to the buried Emperor Star. Next, they would properly take revenge in the human realm. 3 days later, the Reincarnation Valley was completely closed. A terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Everyone in the true spirit world sensed it. They all raised their heads and looked into the distance, revealing shock. What happened? Why was this aura so horrifying? It seemed like something was about to appear. In the Yin-Yang sacred land, Lin Xian also opened his eyes. The yin-yang aura revolved around his body as he looked into the distance. Beside him, Yu Ruo was also shocked. What happened now? The people of the yin-yang sacred land were also shocked. It was not just this place. The other sacred lands naturally noticed it as well. Immediately, their expressions changed. The Jade Lake sacred land's sacred master frowned. The Kunlun sacred king was the same. Murong Qingchen asked, "What happened?" The Kunlun sacred king said that the aura came from the Reincarnation Valley and that he could no longer sense it. That Reincarnation Protector actually dared to close the Reincarnation Valley. He was completely trying to cut off the path to the buried Emperor Star. What? Murong Qingqing was stunned when he heard that. Could it be that they could no longer go to the buried Emperor Star? The Jade Lake Sacred Master also frowned and said coldly, "He was too much. Since he dared to do this, it seemed like someone had contacted him." On the other side, in the southern border, in the 100,000 great mountains, the peerless Sacred King also raised his head. A trace of shock appeared in his eyes. The aura of the Reincarnation Valley had actually disappeared. Was the Reincarnation Protector planning to stand on the side of the human realm? He had never cared about the matters here, but now he actually dared to make a move. It seemed like the human realm was really unwilling to give up. However, the Reincarnation Protector had made a foolish decision this time. Hearing this, Fu Hongye and Ling Huchueshua were also shocked. It seemed that a great change had occurred in the Reincarnation Valley. The other Saint Kings and the Saint Lords of the Sacred Grounds also frowned. Even the everlasting Sacred King roared into the heavens, shattering the stars in the sky. The primordial Sikong had already shattered, but there was still a place of death deeper inside the primordial grotto. The aura there was even more terrifying. At this moment, a figure appeared. It was Sacred King Yanling. He continued to walk deeper and entered the primordial ancient mine. The primordial ancient mine was a legendary place. Back then, it was an existence that was on par with the nest of 10,000 dragons. No one dared to enter it, but now he had entered it. Not long after, he came out. After coming out, he was incomparably excited because he had obtained a treasure from inside. It was a skull with only one eye. At this moment, that eye was emitting a strange light. It was the heavenly eye. With it, let's see where you can hide. Chapter 44:10. Saint King Yanling formed a seal with his palm. Instantly, the ground above the land of death churned, and countless arrays appeared. Then, Saint King Yanling respectfully placed the heavenly eye on the array. Then, countless laws appeared on his body, forming runes one after another. Then, it pierced through his body. Countless runes connected with each other, and he began to use a secret technique. The heavenly eye seemed to have been summoned, and it suddenly opened its eyes. Its gaze swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Above the 9 heavens, there was an illusion of the heavens, looking down as if it wanted to see through everything. The heavenly eye enveloped the entire true spirit world. Countless people felt a sense of fear, and their souls seemed to be suppressed. Yin-Yang Sacred Land. Yuro's pupils constricted, and she suddenly closed her eyes, tears of blood flowing from her eyes. Lin Xian's scalp went numb. Countless golden runes condensed in his eyes, and a pair of golden eyes appeared behind him. It was like the eyes of a god. It floated there, but in the next moment, that terrifying feeling disappeared. He exclaimed, "Who is it? What a powerful eye technique!" It was the first time he felt such a terrifying bronze statue. Not only him, but the other sacred lands also felt it. Far away in southern border, Saint King Wushuang of the 100,000 Mountains felt the same. He also gasped. He did not expect such a strange thing to happen after the reincarnation valley closed. In the land of death, Saint King Yanling sneered, because his heavenly eye had already reflected Saint King Wushuang's image. "You're in southern border? Do you think I can't kill you just because you ran so far away? Today is the day you die." In the next moment, countless arrays appeared under his feet. The power of space tore apart, enveloping his figure, and he disappeared. At the same time, in the 100,000 mountains of southern border, the void shattered, and a figure appeared. Then, a terrifying stone hand slapped down from the sky. At the same time, the earth shook, and a stone giant appeared, as if it was going to overturn the entire earth. Oh no, what happened? In the 100,000 mountains, Fu Hongye and Ling Huchueshua were both stunned. Saint King Wushuang felt a familiar aura, and he roared, "Run!" As he spoke, he unleashed an extremely terrifying devouring vortex. It shrouded Fu Hongye and her brother. In the next moment, he let out a furious roar and charged toward the sky. The place where he had been standing was now in ruins. The rock giant had turned that place into nothingness. "You can't escape. Today is the day you die." The ancient voice in the sky was filled with boundless power as it swept out in all directions. Then, he charged towards Peerless Sage King. As for the stone giants that emerged from the ground, they began to sweep through their surroundings and chase after Ling Huchueshua and Fu Hongye. Naturally, the two of them were no match for him. They could only activate the devouring law and flee quickly. However, the stone giant's strength was beyond their imagination. Therefore, they were stopped in an instant. A single strike had caused cracks to appear. The two of them also vomited blood, their faces filled with despair. "Damn it, am I going to die here? I wonder who did it. Was this the mortal world?" 1. Just then, a power of law shrouded the two of them before ripping the void apart. Then, a palm slapped down like the hand of the heavens and collided with the stone giant. The stone giant was torn apart by this palm strike. Were they saved? Ling Huchueshua and Fu Hongye cried out in alarm. It was most likely a Sage King. In the next moment, they saw the heavenly fragrance pavilion's Sage King appear there. The two of them hurriedly bowed. "Greetings, Senior." "Thank you, Senior, for your help." The heavenly fragrance pavilion's Sage King nodded. However, his gaze was looking into the distance, piercing through everything. "Senior, please help. My master is in danger." The two of them grew nervous again. Evidently, a top-notch expert was attacking Peerless Sage King. There was no need for that. Someone had already rushed over. Sensing that aura, the heavenly fragrance pavilion's Sage King said, "I'll send you two back to the sanctuary first." After saying that, she brought Ling Huchueshua with her and disappeared. On the other side, a figure was flying above Nanjiang. He was none other than Heishan. He was originally here too. He did not expect that something like this would happen. It seemed that he had gone to help Peerless Sage King. They returned to the sanctuary. At that moment, the sanctuary was also astonished. Lin Xian had also returned with Yu Ruo and Fu Hongye. When they saw Ling Huchuishue and Fu Hongye injured, they all frowned. What was going on? Ling Huchuishue told them what had happened. Lin Xian was also nervous. Was Peerless Sage King being hunted down? Who was it? An ordinary Sage King would not be suitable. Damn it. It seemed like it was an extremely terrifying expert of the older generation. In an instant, he thought of the mortal world. This time, was the mortal world going to be destroyed one by one? Should he summon the Sage Kings? Lin Xian asked. Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion's Sage King said that his friend had already gone? I think it should be fine. Is He Shan here? Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. If He Shan were to help, it should not be a problem. After waiting for a day, two figures returned. They were He Shan and Peerless Sage King. However, Peerless Sage King was not in good condition. It was obvious that he was severely injured. Who was the one who attacked him? Peerless Sage King said that he would not die. However, it was really dangerous this time. If not for Taoist He Shan, I might not have made it back. He Shan also looked at Lin Xian. He said that it was Sage King Yen Ling, damn it. It was that old thing. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. Back then, he should have worked with the deity Dao Union to kill the other party. However, He Shan said that although they destroyed the primordial grotto, they had the primordial ancient mine behind them. That was an extremely horrifying existence. Naturally, Lin Xian also knew about this. Most likely, there was an extraordinary individual sleeping in there. However, it was not certain whether they could wake up. What should they do? Now, the mortal world did not attack together. Instead, they hid in the dark and assassinated from time to time. This really made them restless. Lin Xian walked over and used the wood elemental laws to treat Peerless Sage King's injuries. However, his brows were tightly knitted together. No, let's go to the Jade Pool first. The group headed to the Jade Pool to treat their injuries. Those from the Jade Pool also heard about it and frowned. The Kunlun Sage King said, damn it. It looks like we have to go to the Reincarnation Valley again. The Reincarnation Valley probably will not open again. The Heavenly Fragrance Sage King frowned. With so many of us working together, can we not defeat that Reincarnation Protector? If we really can't, we can just attack directly. That fellow is very strong, even more terrifying than Sage King Yen Ling. He might have reached late-stage Sage King. Even if we work together, we might not be able to defeat him. Late-stage Sage King? When these Sage Kings heard this, their expressions changed. Most of them were early-stage Sage Kings. Compared to late-stage Sage Kings, the difference was too great. The other party could indeed sweep through the world alone. Chapter 44:11. All of a sudden, everyone was shocked again. Lin Xian's heavenly secret divine eyes appeared behind him as he looked into the sky. The other Sage Kings also looked up. Damn it! Did Sage King Yen Ling attack again? What did he use? How can he sense where we are so clearly? The Jade Lake Sacred Leader said that it should be the Heaven's Eye. They wondered who he was going to attack this time. In the sky, Sage King Yen Ling's expression was extremely ugly. He had already severely injured Unparalleled Sage King, but he did not expect the black-robed man to come and save him. To be honest, he was very afraid of the black-robed man. The black-robed man appeared and disappeared mysteriously, and he used some tricks that made his hair stand on end. He felt like he was facing the Reincarnation Guardian when he faced the black-robed man. Therefore, he did not continue to chase after him. However, he also knew that Unparalleled Sage King could not recover. He had used some terrifying tricks. When he went to the Primordium Ancient Mine, not only did he take out the Primordium token, but he also obtained the Heaven's Eye. At the same time, he also obtained something else. The Poison of Despair. This poison was more powerful than the Supreme Sage Corpse poison, because it was formed from 10 different Supreme Sage corpse poisons. It could make anyone despair. Therefore, Unparalleled Sage King was definitely dead. Even if he could not kill him personally, he would not be able to survive after being poisoned by the poison of despair. Next, he immediately started to look for the others. He immediately thought of Lin Xian. Now that Unparalleled Sage King was dead, he wanted to kill Lin Xian. However, when he used the Heaven's Eye to see that Lin Xian and the others were together, and they were all at the Jade Lake, he frowned. With so many Sage Kings together, it was not convenient for him to attack. Moreover, they were at the Jade Lake. It seemed like he had to hurry up and attack. He had to kill those people before the others arrived at the Jade Lake. He looked around and saw 2 people. One was Wuji Sage King, and the other was Shuiwa Sage King. Shuiwa Sage King was the weakest and could be killed in one move. Therefore, Sage King Yanling was prepared to attack him. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others were also very anxious. They discussed and decided to summon the others to the Jade Lake. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous. After all, with so many of them gathered together, the other party probably wouldn't dare to make a move. Another thing was that the Jade Lake had an extreme weapon that could suppress everything. After receiving the news, Wuji Saint King and Bus Saint King were rushing over. However, the distance was still quite far. Furthermore, I'm guessing that Spirit Saint King Yanling has already found the 2 of them. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard the Jade Lake sacred leader's words. Lin Xian said, "Otherwise, I won't be able to withstand the poison." There was another possibility. If all the sacred kings worked together and gave their power to the great dragon sword soul, they might be able to suppress it. However, there were not many sacred kings around him now. The peerless Saint King could not wait for them to work together and return. Hence, he decided to take the risk. The Jade Pool's sacred leader also left. It seemed like she wanted to work with the other elders to activate the ancient desolate tower again. Soon, the ancient desolate tower emitted an extreme power aura. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. They would not be able to withstand a single strand of the aura. An extreme power appeared and enveloped the peerless Saint King. The peerless Saint King used the Devour Law to send this power into his body. In the next moment, he roared into the sky. His black hair fluttered and the void shattered. Cracks appeared on his body and blood flowed out. It was a terrifying sight. It was too terrifying. The extreme power was too terrifying. On the other side, the Jade Pool's sacred leader and the others had also arrived. They were also watching anxiously. They had used up a lot of energy to activate the ancient desolate tower previously. If he couldn't succeed, there would be no other way. Lin Xian was even more nervous. He hoped that the peerless Saint King could withstand it. More and more cracks appeared on the peerless Saint King's body. In the end, it completely split open and formed a devouring vortex. Finally, the blood mist in the sky condensed again. The peerless Saint King appeared in front of everyone. His face was pale, but he still said, "I almost died. But luckily, my luck is still okay." Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian asked, "Senior brother, is the poison of despair cured?" Chapter 44:12. Peerless Sage King shook his head. "No, I used my extreme doubt to suppress it. However, it is very troublesome to completely eliminate it. It is impossible to do so in a short period of time. Fortunately, there is no danger to our lives for now. Too hateful. If they did not close the Reincarnation Valley, we would have left long ago and would not be in such a passive situation." A supreme elder of the Jade Lake walked over and said, "In fact, the world is much more terrifying than you think. Furthermore, with the primordial ancient mine, it was expected that the reincarnation protector would stand on Sage King Yanling's side. However, they did not expect that he would be so ruthless and directly close the valley. What kind of existence was the buried Emperor Star? Even Murong Qingqing and the others were very puzzled. The old man's eyes flickered. He said that the buried Emperor Star was similar to the true spirit world. It had countless ancient inheritances and mysterious families. It also had many places of death. However, it was different from the true spirit world. Great emperors were buried there. Great emperors were buried there. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. It seemed that the buried Emperor Star's name was not randomly given. There really were great emperors buried there. The great elder shook his head. Almost all the great emperors were buried there. Many of them had come from the true spirit world. This place was the beginning and that place was the end. After a while, sage kings descended from the distance. It turned out that the people who went to receive them had returned. Limitless Sage King safely returned. Not long after, Black Mountain and Closed Moon Sage King also returned. At the same time, their respective disciples also returned. They were all qualified to enter the buried Emperor Star. After they arrived, they all let out a sigh of relief. Great! It seemed that Sage King Yanling did not have the chance to make a move. However, Closed Moon Sage King frowned. Although we are safe now, it is not a good idea to stay here for such a long time. We can't stay here forever. Indeed, the others also nodded. What should we do? We must quickly open the Reincarnation Valley and let our people in. Let's go to the buried Emperor Star. Indeed, this was the most important thing right now. However, at this moment, Seven-Star Sage King coldly said, "Will we be safe after we enter the buried Emperor Star? Don't forget how we were poisoned at the Primordial Grotto's banquet." As soon as these words came out, the expressions of the other people also changed. They clearly remembered the reason why they were poisoned. They were the people who returned from the buried Emperor Star. It was said to be the antidote, but in the end, it framed them. What exactly happened for those people to betray them? The Supreme Elder of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground said. He had said before that the human world was very terrifying. Even on the buried Emperor Star, there were terrifying existences. Most likely, those who went in had already joined the human world. That's why he attacked us. Then, would the new person be subdued by the human world as well? This was something that no one knew. At this moment, Peerless Saint King also walked out. His face was extremely pale. Obviously, his injuries had not healed yet. However, at this moment, his eyes were indeed emitting a biting cold light. He said that rather than this, it would be better for all of them to go to the buried Emperor Star. I want to see who it is that dares to attack us. Are we all going? Those Saint Kings were also stunned. To be honest, they also had the same thought. However, they knew that the buried Emperor Star was even more terrifying. Once they entered, there would no longer be supreme existences. Perhaps there would be people even more terrifying than them, such as great saints or even existences above great saints. At that time, their identity and status would definitely change. How could these Saint Kings, who had been used to ruling the world for thousands of years, endure this? Peerless Saint King said, "I won't force you. Those who are willing to stay can stay here. As for those who want to go, we'll gather together." After a discussion, a portion of them prepared to go together, while the rest stayed behind. Of course, whether these people went or not, they all wanted to kill Spirit Saint King Yin. After all, there was such a terrifying expert of the older generation who could lock onto their position and attack them at any time. They were afraid that they would be in great danger in the future. Let's go. These people soared into the sky and once again headed towards the Reincarnation Valley. They arrived there and stood in the void. The Kunlun Saint Sovereign's cold voice sounded. "Reincarnation Protector, please come out." In the Reincarnation Valley, the Reincarnation Protector opened his eyes and frowned. These people actually came here directly, and there were so many of them. What? Were they trying to scare him with such a scene? How laughable. It seemed that these people were pitifully stupid. Beside him was an old man. It was Spirit Saint King Yen. He said, It seems that these people can't wait any longer. However, they actually dared to attack you. I think they really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Let's go. Let's see what right they have to be arrogant in front of me. The reincarnation protector walked outside. Behind him, Spirit Saint King Yen followed and sneered. Outside in the empty palace, everyone waited patiently. This time, they had all decided that they must open the reincarnation valley. All of a sudden, the ground split open as a terrifying gigantic rock hand grabbed out at Lin Xian. It seemed that it wanted to crush Lin Xian. Lin Xian's pupils shrank, and he used the great sage tower to block it. With a clang, he was forced back. However, he roared and used the dragon-shaped sword chi to slash forward. It also blocked the giant stone hand. At the same time, Black Mountain slapped out a black palm and directly tore the rock hand into pieces. At the same time, his gaze pierced through the front. The surrounding Saint Kings also changed their expressions. Did someone attack again? And looking at this mystique, it was definitely Spirit Saint King Yen. This guy was also in the reincarnation valley. They all looked forward. In the next moment, they saw two figures walk out. It was the reincarnation protector and Spirit Saint King Yen. Kid, you're really lucky? You didn't die even after that? Spirit Saint King Yan's eyes were filled with killing intent. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Old thing, one day, I will personally kill you. How dare you! The reincarnation protector roared, and a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Lin Xian felt as if his soul was about to split open. He roared, and his eyes shone with an unparalleled golden light. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared, and the dragon tribe's breathing technique was also activated to block it. Not only that, Peerless Saint King even used the devouring law. The Kunlun Saint King had to use Kunlun Mountain to block the roar. In the next moment, they looked forward with a hint of fear in their eyes. The reincarnation protector was indeed strong. However, they also had a hint of anger. Chapter 44:13. You're just a sacred venerate. What right do you have to speak here? The reincarnation guardian's cold voice rang out. Then, he looked at Peerless Sacred King. Even if he's your junior, you can't be so unruly. Are you going to do it, or should I? Peerless Sacred King snorted coldly. He said, my junior didn't do anything wrong. It was Spirit Sage King Yen who wanted to kill him. What's wrong with my junior saying a few words? I don't think my junior is wrong. Or is it that the reincarnation guardian doesn't differentiate between right and wrong and is on Spirit Sage King Yan's side? If that's the case, I have nothing to say. We can only fight. You dare to challenge me? The reincarnation guardian took a step forward. A terrifying aura emanated from his body as if it was going to sweep through everything. The power on his body was too terrifying. The moment he appeared, the surrounding sacred kings felt their scalps go numb. Even Peerless Saint King furrowed his brows. However, he did not retreat. Instead, he said, so what if I challenge you? You've already meddled in too many things. As the reincarnation guardian, your purpose is to protect the reincarnation valley. You can't meddle in other things. But now that you've broken the rules, don't blame us. That's right. Kunlun's Sacred King and Wuji's Sacred King walked up. The surrounding Sacred Kings also stood up. They said, open the reincarnation mountain and let us pass safely. We won't attack. Otherwise, don't blame us for joining forces. Joining forces? With just you? The reincarnation guardian laughed out loud, his eyes filled with disdain. The aura on his body continued to radiate, piercing through the sky and sweeping through everything. Then, he said, even if you join forces, you're still no match for me. With that, he struck out with his palm. A terrifying light swept through the area. This power was really too strong. Those Saint Kings felt their bodies tremble. Then, they roared and retreated quickly. These people retreated frantically to avoid the attack. Peerless Sacred King and Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. They realized that the attack was directed at them. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the great sacred tower to envelop the two of them. At the same time, Peerless Sacred King roared. He waved his unparalleled sword and slashed towards the sky. From the looks of it, he was not holding back at all and was planning to go all out. With a slash of the sword, a terrifying sword light split the world apart. Not even a world could withstand it. The two collided, and Peerless Holy King was sent flying. Fortunately, with the protection of the Grand Sage Tower, he didn't suffer too many injuries. However, the surrounding people were all stunned. Even Peerless Saint King's full-powered attack could not block the Reincarnation Protector's casual attack. The gap between the two sides was really too big. I've already said that you're no match for me. You don't have the qualifications to challenge me. The Reincarnation Protector stood there with his hands behind his back, looking down at the world with disdain in his eyes. Then, he stared at Lin Xian. Brat, I didn't expect you to have so many treasures on you. I've taken a liking to this saint item. Hand it over obediently. Lin Xian's expression was also ice-cold. He gritted his teeth and said, You don't have the right to take anything from me. Do you think you can contend against me just because you're a saint venerable and can sweep through the world? Do you think you can contend against me? Even your senior brother can't do it, let alone you. With that, the Reincarnation Protector's eyes suddenly emitted a terrifying light. He looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt his body tremble, and his soul was about to be torn apart. Then, a terrifying aura appeared around him, as if it was about to pull him into the cycle of reincarnation. What a terrifying power! Is this an eye technique? Lin Xian was stunned. He roared and activated his heavenly secret god eyes. Then, countless golden runes covered the surroundings. At the same time, the great dragon sword soul roared and slashed at the void. In the next moment, he quickly retreated, cold sweat dripping down his body. It was too terrifying. The other party's gaze had almost killed him. No wonder all the Saint Kings were afraid of the Reincarnation Protector. The surrounding Saint Kings were also stunned. Especially Saint King Yeling, whose pupils shrank. The other party didn't die. It was too unbelievable. One had to know that the Reincarnation Protector controlled a trace of the power of reincarnation. He looked around and saw that no one in the 6 paths of reincarnation could survive. Logically speaking, the other party should have turned into dust, but the other party was still alive. Even the Reincarnation Protector's face darkened. You're the first one who could withstand my glare without dying. I'm very interested in what secrets you have. The Reincarnation Protector's eyes shone brightly. It seemed like he wanted to attack again. But at this time, Saint King Wuxuang attacked, and a terrifying sword she flashed. The Reincarnation Protector stretched out a palm and swept it in all directions. It's useless, Wuxuang. No matter how strong you are, you're no match for me. The Devouring Law is useless against me. The Devouring Law in the sky wanted to devour him, but his gaze shattered everything. Buzz! The Kunlun Saint King roared, and the Kunlun mountain fell from the sky. The terrifying power caused the entire void to collapse, and the 9 heavens and 10 lands were torn apart. However, the Reincarnation Protector's palm broke the Kunlun mountain into pieces. The Kunlun Saint King also retreated, and his face became extremely pale. The surrounding people were shocked. They all attacked and realized that they couldn't hurt the other party at all. Like I said, you ants aren't my match at all. You don't know what I mean to you. Not only do I control the Reincarnation Valley, but I also control the reincarnation of this world. If I want you to die, you'll die. If I want you to live, you'll live. The power of reincarnation was too terrifying. Everyone felt despair. Although they were Saint Kings, they could defeat everything. But at this moment, their faces were filled with despair. However, at this time, one of them sneered. You control reincarnation? What a joke. Who do you think you are? How dare you say you control reincarnation? You only borrowed a little power from the reincarnation valley, and you dare to be arrogant here? What a joke! Who was it? Did they want to die? The reincarnation protector was instantly furious. Who dared to challenge him like this? His gaze swept across and quickly locked onto a figure. Then he frowned. He saw a man in a black robe in front of him. His face was covered, and he couldn't see who it was. Saint King Yanling also frowned. He said, "This is a new Saint King. But I feel that he's very mysterious. He must have secrets. No matter what secrets he has, if he dares to challenge me, I'll send him to hell." With that, the reincarnation protector attacked again. "How dare you underestimate my reincarnation power? Then I'll let you experience it personally." His eyes shone with a shocking light, and then he flew forward. This power was too terrifying. It carried an extremely strong law that could sweep through everything. No one could resist it. However, Black Mountain sneered. He formed a seal with his palms, and the ground around him shattered. Countless spirit veins were under his control, forming a peerless array. Then, it turned into a blade light and descended from the sky. Boom! Boom! Earth-shattering sounds rang out, and a terrifying power tore everything apart. The reincarnation protector was stunned. He could control the Earth's spirit veins? It seemed that he was a powerful array master, but so what? In the face of absolute power, it was useless. He sent out another palm strike. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.